March 15, 2024. SpaceX headquarters, Hawthorne, California. The meeting that would determine humanity's future on Mars was about to begin. 6 of the world's most powerful people waited in their video boxes, ready to discuss $50 billion and the first permanent colony on another planet. But nobody expected the real star of the show to be a little boy with a broken toy robot. What started as an embarrassing interruption would become the moment that saved the Mars mission and possibly changed the course of human history forever. Sometimes the most important conversations happen when you least expect them, and sometimes it takes a child to remind adults what really matters. This is the story of how one Zoom call changed everything. Elon Musk stared at the giant screen on his office wall. The Starship rocket stood tall and silver against the Texas sky at Starbase. It looked perfect, ready, like a giant metal pencil pointed at Mars. His hands shook a little as he fixed his camera. Today was March 15, 2024, the most important day of his life. "Mr. Musk, they're all waiting," said Maria Santos, his assistant. She stood by the door with her tablet. Her voice was quiet but worried. Elon nodded. He looked around his messy office. Coffee cups sat on his desk next to rocket plans. Papers covered every table. A toy robot lay broken near his computer. The Zoom call would start in 2 minutes. 6 people would join from around the world. They would decide if humans could go to Mars in the next 5 years. $50 billion. That's how much money they needed. $50 billion to build rockets, spacesuits, and homes on Mars. $50 billion to make his biggest dream come true. "Is my tie straight?" Elon asked Maria. She smiled. "You're not wearing a tie, Mr. Musk?" Elon looked down. She was right. He wore his usual black t-shirt. "Good. Ties are stupid anyway." The computer made a soft sound. People were joining the call. Elon took a deep breath and clicked his mouse. Dr. Sarah Chen appeared first. She worked for NASA and knew everything about rockets. Her dark hair was pulled back. She looked very serious. "Good morning, Elon," she said. "Ready to make history?" "Always," Elon replied. But his stomach felt funny. Viktor Petrov joined next. He was from Russia and had a thick gray beard. He never smiled much. Behind him, Elon could see snow falling outside a window. "Comrade Musk," Viktor said with a nod. 3 more boxes popped up on the screen. The money people. The ones who could say yes or no Mars. James Wu appeared first. He made computers and phones. His office had floor-to-ceiling windows showing a city skyline. Elon, ready to change the world? Rebecca Sterling came next. She owned oil companies. Her office looked fancy with leather chairs and gold picture frames. She had blonde hair and sharp blue eyes that seemed to see everything. "Mr. Musk," she said. Her voice was cold. Last was David Kim. He made cryptocurrency and always wore hoodies. His background showed Korean writing on the wall behind him. "Let's go to Mars," David said with a big grin. Elon looked at all 6 faces on his screen. These people could make his dream real, or they could crush it with one word. "Thank you all for joining," Elon began. His voice was steady now. "Today we're going to plan the most important trip in human history. We're going to Mars." He clicked to share his screen. Charts and pictures filled everyone's computers. Rockets, spacesuits, red planet surfaces. "SpaceX has built the most powerful rocket ever," Elon said. "Our new Starship can carry 100 people to Mars. We have new engines that burn cleaner. We have life support systems that can keep people alive for 2 years." Dr. Chen leaned forward. She was taking notes. "The window to Mars opens in 18 months. Elon continued. "If we work together, we can send the first humans to Mars by 20. "How much will it cost?" Rebecca Sterling asked. Her voice was sharp. $50 billion total. Split between all of us. Viktor Petrov stroked his beard. "That is much money." "It's the price of the future," Elon said. "My son is 7 years old. When he grows up, I want him to have choices. Earth or Mars. 1 planet or 2. James Wu nodded. "I'm in. This is bigger than business." "Wait," Rebecca said. "Let's talk about risks. What if something goes wrong? What if people die?" Elon's face got serious. "Space is dangerous. But staying on one planet is more dangerous. What if an asteroid hits Earth? What if climate change gets worse? We need a backup plan. David Kim was quiet. He looked at his notes. I have Russian life support technology, Victor said slowly. Very good systems. We could share. Dr. Chen smiled. NASA wants to help too. We have new spacesuits. Better than anything before. Rebecca Sterling sat back in her chair. She didn't look happy. This sounds like a children's fantasy, she said. Pretty pictures and big dreams, but I deal with real business, real money, real problems. The call got quiet. Everyone waited. Elon felt his heart beat fast. This was the moment. Win or lose. You're right, he said. It is a dream. But the best things start as dreams. The internet was a dream. Cell phones were a dream. Democracy was a dream. He paused. And dreams become real when smart people work together. Behind Elon, his office door creaked open. He didn't notice. The technology is ready, he continued. The money is available. The only question is, do we have the courage to... Daddy, can you help me with my robot? A small voice cut through Elon's speech. Everyone on the Zoom call stopped talking. 7-year-old Ash walked into the camera view. He had messy brown hair and held a broken toy robot in his hands. The robot's arm hung loose, and wires stuck out. Elon's eyes went wide. His son had just interrupted the most important business call of his life. The 6 faces on his screen stared back at him. Some looked surprised. Some looked amused. Rebecca Sterling looked annoyed. Elon's mind raced. He could send Ash away. He could pretend this didn't happen. He could try to save his serious business image. Instead, he did something unexpected. He smiled. What happened to Mr. Sparky? Elon asked his son, forgetting about the call for a moment. The powerful people around the world watched as the famous billionaire became just a dad, helping his kid with a broken toy. And everything was about to change. Ash stood next to his father's chair, holding the broken robot. His big eyes looked sad. One of the robot's arms hung by a single wire, and its chest panel was cracked. On the computer screen, 6 important people watched and waited. Dr. Chen's serious face softened into a smile. James Wu chuckled quietly. Even Victor Petrov's stern expression seemed less scary. But Rebecca Sterling crossed her arms. Her face looked angry. I'm sorry, Elon said to the screen. This is my son, Ash. He didn't know. It's okay, Daddy, Ash said in his small voice. I can wait. Elon looked at his broken son holding his broken toy. Then he looked at the screen full of adults talking about big money and bigger dreams. He made a choice. Actually, Elon said, let me help you right now. He picked up the little robot and turned it over in his hands. The wire was loose, but not broken. The chest panel just needed to pop back into place. Mute your call, Mr. Musk, Rebecca Sterling said sharply. This is not professional. But Elon didn't mute. Instead, he reached into his desk drawer and pulled out a small screwdriver and some tape. See this wire, buddy? He said to Ash. It just came loose. And this panel here? It got pushed in, but it's not really broken. The people on the screen watched as the famous CEO became a regular dad fixing his kid's toy. Elon twisted the tiny screwdriver and pushed the panel back into place. Then he wrapped a small piece of tape around the loose wire. There, Elon said, handing the robot back to Ash. Try it now. Ash pressed the button on the robot's chest. Its eyes lit up blue and it made happy beeping sounds. The arm moved up and down perfectly. It works, Ash shouted with joy. Thank you, Daddy. He gave Elon a big hug, then ran out of the room with his fixed robot. Elon turned back to his computer. 6 faces stared at him. Some were smiling now. Others looked confused. Sorry about that, everyone, Elon said. But you know what? That little guy right there is exactly why we're doing this. We're not just building rockets. We're building the future for our children. Dr. Chen was still smiling. That was sweet, Elon. He seems like a smart kid. Kids see things simply. James Wu added. Something's broken, you fix it. Something's impossible, you make it possible. Victor Petrov nodded slowly. In Russia, we say children are our greatest treasure, more valuable than gold or oil. David Kim laughed. My daughter interrupts my calls all the time. At least your son brought a robot instead of finger paint." But Rebecca Sterling was not happy. Her blue eyes looked cold. "This is exactly what I'm talking about," she said. "Lack of focus. Lack of discipline. Mr. Musk, how can we trust you with $50 billion when you can't even control a simple business meeting?" The mood on the call changed instantly. The warm feeling from Ash's visit disappeared. "I've heard about your Twitter purchase," Rebecca continued. "Your midnight tweets. Your scattered attention. Some people think you're brilliant. Others think you're reckless." Elon felt his chest tighten. These were his deepest fears. The things people whispered behind his back. Was he too distracted? Did he take on too many projects? "Rebecca," James Wu said carefully. "That's a bit harsh." "Is it?" Rebecca shot back. "We're talking about human lives, about the biggest space mission in history. And he stops everything to fix a toy robot." Dr. Chen cleared her throat. "Actually, I thought it showed good priorities. Family first, then work." "Family doesn't pay for rocket fuel," Rebecca said. Viktor Petrov stroked his beard. "In Soviet space program, we learned that stressed commanders make bad decisions. Happy commanders keep crews alive." David Kim nodded. "She has a point about focus, though. The Mars mission needs total attention." Elon felt the call slipping away from him. These people had been excited 5 minutes ago. Now they were questioning everything. "You want to know about focus?" Elon said quietly. "I've been focused on Mars since I was 12 years old. I've built 3 companies to get there. I've spent 20 years and billions of dollars on this dream." His voice got stronger. "Yes, I fix my son's robot when he asks. Yes, I answer his questions about stars and rockets, because he's the reason we're going to Mars. Not for glory, not for profit, for him and every child like him." Rebecca Sterling sat back in her chair. She was listening now, but her face was still hard. "My son asked me last week why Mars looks red," Elon continued. "I told him it's because of iron dust in the soil. Then he asked if we could build sandcastles there. You know what I said? Everyone waited. I said yes. Someday we will build sandcastles on Mars, and tree houses, and playgrounds, because that's what Mars is really about, making a place where children can dream bigger dreams." The call was quiet for a moment. Dr. Chen spoke first. "NASA supports family-friendly space missions. Always have." James Wu nodded. "Kids make everything better, even business calls." But Rebecca Sterling still looked doubtful. And Viktor Petrov hadn't committed his government's money yet. The mission was still hanging by a thread. Then, from somewhere in the house, they all heard Ash's voice calling out, "Daddy, why is the angry lady on your computer yelling?" Everyone on the call heard it. Even Rebecca Sterling. Her face turned red. The angry lady comment hung in the air like smoke. For the first time since the call began, Rebecca Sterling looked embarrassed instead of angry. And Elon realized his 7-year-old son might have just saved the Mars mission with one innocent question. Rebecca Sterling's face was bright red. She opened her mouth to speak, then closed it. For the first time since the call started, she had no words. "I wasn't yelling," she said quietly. Dr. Chen tried not to laugh. "Kids tell the truth, don't they? Always." Viktor Petrov said with the first smile anyone had seen from him. "My grandson says I look like Angry Bear. Children see clearly." James Wu was grinning. Out of the mouths of babes. Elon felt something change inside him. His son's innocent comment had broken the tension. These serious adults were remembering what it felt like to be children themselves. He closed his PowerPoint presentation. All those charts and graphs suddenly felt wrong. "You know what?" Elon said. "Forget the fancy slides. Let me tell you why we're really doing this." He leaned back in his chair and looked directly at the camera. "Last week, I took Ash outside to look at Mars. It was just a tiny red dot in the sky. He pointed at it and asked, 'When can I go there, Daddy?' Not if. When." Rebecca Sterling was listening now. Really listening. "I told him that people like you might make it possible. Smart people who care about the future. And he said, 'Good. I want to plant flowers there.'" Elon's eyes got bright with excitement. "That's what this is about. Not just survival. Not just backup plans. We're giving our children a whole new world to explore." He stood up and walked to his window. Through the glass, they could see rockets being built in the SpaceX factory. Our new Raptor 3 engines are twice as powerful as anything NASA has, Elon continued. They burn liquid methane and oxygen. Both can be made on Mars using the atmosphere and ice we find there. Dr. Chen was taking notes fast. This was better than any PowerPoint. The life support systems can recycle air and water perfectly, Elon said. We tested them for 6 months straight. No failures, no problems. Viktor Petrov leaned forward. What about radiation protection? Great question. We use water tanks built into the ship's walls. Water stops radiation and gives us something to drink. Smart, right? James Wu nodded. Elegant solution. The psychological prep is just as important, Elon continued. The trip takes 7 months each way. We're working with doctors to help astronauts stay happy and healthy. He walked back to his desk and sat down. His energy was contagious. Even through the computer screen, everyone could feel his excitement. We can launch the first supply mission in 18 months, Elon said. Food, tools, and machines to start building. Then, 2 years later, the first people follow. How many people? Dr. Chen asked. 12 in the first crew. 6 from America, 2 from Russia, 2 from Europe, 1 from Asia, 1 from Africa. The whole world working together. David Kim was smiling big. That's beautiful, man. Unity through exploration. The landing site is Chris Planitia, Elon continued. Flat ground, close to water ice, protected from dust storms. Perfect for our first city. Rebecca Sterling had been quiet for a long time. Now she spoke. What about money? Real numbers, not dreams. Elon was ready. SpaceX puts in $15 billion. NASA matches with another 15. The investors split $20 billion between you. That's $4 billion each for James, David, and you, Rebecca. Victor's government covers transportation costs. And profit? Rebecca asked. There is no profit, Elon said simply. This isn't about making money. It's about making history. James Wu whistled softly. $4 billion is a lot. But this is Mars we're talking about. I'm in, David Kim said suddenly. This is why I got into tech. To change the world. Dr. Chen was nodding. NASA's been waiting for a partner like this. We can fast-track approval. Viktor Petrov stroked his beard. Russia has life support technology that could help. We want to be part of this. All eyes turned to Rebecca Sterling. She held the key to everything. Without her oil company money and resources, the mission couldn't happen. I need guarantees, she said slowly. Timeline guarantees, safety guarantees, success guarantees. I can't guarantee success, Elon said honestly. Space is hard, but I can guarantee we'll give everything we have. Every dollar, every brain cell, every waking moment. Rebecca was quiet for a long moment. Her fingers drummed on her desk. My father always said that the biggest fortunes come from the biggest risks, she said finally. Everyone held their breath. But he also said to never bet more than you can afford to lose. The call went silent. This was the moment. Yes or no? Mars or... I need to think about it, Rebecca said. Elon's heart sank a little. How long? Give me 24 hours. Fair enough, Elon said, though he wanted to scream yes or no right now. James Wu spoke up. Rebecca, what if we started smaller? 2 billion instead of 4. It's not about the money, she said. It's about trust. Can I trust Mr. Musk to stay focused? Can I trust this team to work together? Can I trust that this isn't just an expensive fantasy? Her questions hung in the air like clouds before a storm. I understand, Elon said quietly. Take your time. But remember, every day we wait is another day our children grow up thinking the impossible is actually impossible. Just then, Ash's voice carried from the kitchen. Daddy, can we have pancakes on Mars? Despite everything, everyone on the call smiled. See what I mean? Elon said. The call was ending, but nobody knew if it was the beginning of humanity's greatest adventure or just another meeting that led nowhere. Rebecca Sterling was the key to everything, and she still hadn't said yes. The silence on the call felt heavy. Everyone was thinking about Rebecca's words. Trust, focus, success, big questions that needed good answers. Dr. Chen cleared her throat. Maybe I should share some news, she said. NASA has been keeping something quiet. All eyes turned to her on the screen. The Artemis program is doing better than we told the public. Our moon base is 3 months ahead of schedule. We've learned so much about living in space. Elon leaned forward. That's huge news, Sarah. Why keep it secret? Politics, she said with a tired smile. Congress doesn't like surprises. But the point is, we know more about space survival than ever before. Mars isn't as scary as it was 5 years ago. Viktor Petrov nodded slowly. Russia has similar secrets. Our closed-loop life support systems have been tested for 18 months. They work perfectly. Air, water, waste, everything recycled. Why are you sharing this now? Rebecca asked. Victor's stern face softened. Because some dreams are bigger than countries. My granddaughter asks me about Mars every week. I want to give her good answers. James Wu was smiling. This is incredible. We're not starting from zero. We're building on decades of success. David Kim pulled up something on his computer. I've been working on funding models. What if regular people could invest in Mars? Small amounts from millions of people around the world? Like crowdfunding? Dr. Chen asked. Exactly, but bigger. Using blockchain technology, we could let anyone buy shares in the Mars mission. Teachers, students, families. Everyone becomes part of history. Rebecca Sterling looked interested for the first time. How much could that raise? Conservative estimate? $5 billion from 10 million people investing 500 each. Elon's eyes went wide. That would change everything. Mars wouldn't belong to governments or billionaires. It would belong to humanity. The technology exists right now, David continued. Smart contracts, transparent tracking, real-time updates. People could watch their investment literally fly to Mars. Viktor Petrov was nodding. Russian people would love this. They remember when space exploration made everyone proud. Dr. Chen was taking notes again. NASA would support public investment. It makes space exploration democratic. But Rebecca Sterling still looked doubtful. Public money means public opinion, she said. What happens when something goes wrong? When people lose their investments? When astronauts? She didn't finish the sentence, but everyone knew what she meant. When astronauts die, Elon said quietly, you're right. Space is dangerous. People could die. Money could be lost. Dreams could be crushed. He paused and looked directly at Rebecca on the screen. But you know what's more dangerous? Giving up. Teaching our children that big dreams are stupid. Telling them to play it safe while the world burns around them. Rebecca's face got hard again. That's not fair, Mr. Musk. I'm not against dreams. I'm against waste. My company has lost billions on projects that sounded great but failed. What projects? James Wu asked gently. Rebecca was quiet for a moment. When she spoke, her voice was softer. My father invested in clean energy back in the 1990s. Solar panels, wind farms, electric car batteries. Everyone laughed at him, said oil was forever. She looked down at her hands. He spent $10 billion over 20 years. Most of it failed. The technology wasn't ready. The market didn't care. He died thinking he was a fool. The call went quiet. Rebecca had never shared this story before. But he wasn't a fool, she continued. Everything he tried works now. Tesla succeeded where his companies failed. Solar power is everywhere. His dreams came true, just 20 years too late for him to see. Elon felt his chest tighten. I'm sorry, I didn't know. So when people talk about big dreams and changing the world, I remember my father. Brilliant man, pure heart, died broke and forgot. Viktor Petrov spoke gently. But his dreams lived. That is what matters. Easy to say when it's not your money. Rebecca shot back. The tension was building again. David Kim tried to help. What if we started smaller? Prove the technology works before asking for billions. How? Rebecca asked. Elon had an idea. What if we send robots first? Show that we can land safely, make fuel, build shelter, prove everything works before risking human lives? Dr. Chen nodded. That's actually standard procedure. We never send humans anywhere we haven't tested robots first. How long would that take? James Wu asked. 18 months to design and build. 7 months flight time. 6 months of testing on Mars. Then we're ready for humans. Rebecca was thinking. So 3 years total before people launch? Yes, Elon said. 3 years to prove everything works. 3 years to build trust. The call went quiet again. Everyone was doing math in their heads. Viktor Petrov broke the silence. Russia commits our life support technology. No charge. Dr. Chen smiled. NASA commits transportation and expertise. Partnership, not payment. James Wu was nodding. I'm in for my full share. 4 billion. But spread over 3 years. David Kim grinned. Blockchain funding platform launches next month. I'll have 5 billion from the public within a year. All eyes turned to Rebecca Sterling. She was the last piece of the puzzle. I need guarantees, she said slowly. What kind? Elon asked. Robot mission succeeds, or human mission stops. No exceptions. Agreed, Elon said immediately. Full financial transparency. Every dollar tracked and reported. Agreed. If you get distracted by other projects, I can pull my funding immediately. Elon hesitated. That was a big ask. But Mars was worth it. Agreed. Rebecca Sterling sat back in her chair. She looked at each face on the screen. Scientists, entrepreneurs, dreamers, people who believed in impossible things, just like her father had. I have one more condition, she said. Everyone waited. When we succeed, when humans walk on Mars, there's a plaque with my father's name on it. Marcus Sterling. The man who dreamed of clean energy when everyone said it was impossible. Elon's eyes got watery. It would be an honor. Rebecca Sterling took a deep breath. Sterling Energy commits $4 billion to the Mars mission. The call exploded in cheers. James Wu pumped his fist. David Kim shouted in Korean. Dr. Chen clapped her hands. Even Viktor Petrov was smiling. But in the back of Elon's mind, a small voice whispered a warning. $50 billion. Thousands of people working together. The hopes of millions around the world. What could possibly go wrong? The celebration on the Zoom call was loud and happy. James Wu was laughing. David Kim was taking screenshots to remember the moment. Dr. Chen was already making notes about mission timelines. This is incredible, James said. We just made history. $50 billion for Mars. David added. My grandmother is going to flip when I tell her. Viktor Petrov was actually smiling now. My government will be very pleased. International cooperation is good for everyone. Rebecca Sterling looked different too. The hard lines around her eyes had softened. For the first time since the call began, she looked hopeful instead of worried. So what happens next? She asked. Elon pulled up a calendar on his screen. Robot mission design starts Monday. We'll need teams in California, Texas, Russia, and Houston. Weekly check-ins with everyone. I can have my blockchain platform ready in 30 days, David said. We'll start with small investments and build up. Dr. Chen nodded. NASA will assign our best engineers. Sarah Martinez for life support, Tom Wilson for landing systems. Russian team will be led by Dr. Alexei Volkov. Viktor added. Best space engineer in Moscow. The energy on the call was electric. These 6 people were actually going to send humans to Mars. It felt like magic. We should celebrate, James Wu said. Dinner in person when this is all over? I know a great place in Austin, Elon replied. Ash would love to meet everyone. Speaking of Ash, Rebecca said with a small smile. I owe him an apology. I wasn't really yelling, was I? Everyone laughed. He just tells the truth, Elon said. Kids don't understand business politeness. They say what they see. Maybe we should listen to kids more often, Dr. Chen suggested. They ask the best questions. Viktor Petrov nodded. My granddaughter asked me why adults always look so serious. Good question, yes? The conversation was getting warmer and friendlier. These weren't just business partners anymore. They were becoming friends. That's when they heard raised voices from somewhere in Elon's house. But I want to show Daddy, came Ash's voice, high and frustrated. He's in an important meeting, replied a woman's voice. Probably his nanny. This is important too, Ash insisted. The voices got louder. Everyone on the call could hear the argument getting closer to Elon's office. "Should we take a break?" Rebecca asked. Elon looked torn. The meeting was going perfectly, but his son sounded upset. "No, it's okay," he said. "Let me just—" The office door burst open. Ash ran in, tears streaming down his face. He was holding a piece of paper in his hand. "Daddy," he cried, "I made something for your space friends." Behind him, a tired-looking woman appeared. "I'm so sorry, Mr. Musk. He got away from me." Elon held up his hand. "It's fine, Carmen. Come here, buddy." "What's wrong?" Ash climbed into his father's lap, still sniffling. "I drew a picture for everyone, but Carmen said I couldn't show you." "Well, you're here now," Elon said gently. "What did you draw?" Ash held up his paper. It was a crayon drawing of stick figures holding hands. Above them was a red circle with a rocket next to it. "It's all of you on Mars," Ash announced proudly. "See? You're all friends and you're holding hands because you work together." The people on the screen went quiet. The simple drawing was more powerful than any business presentation. Dr. Chen spoke first. "That's beautiful, Ash. Is that me with the dark hair?" "Yes," Ash said, perking up. "And that's the angry lady, but she's not angry anymore because she's happy about Mars." Rebecca Sterling laughed out loud. "I guess I was pretty angry, wasn't I?" "A little bit," Ash said honestly. "But Daddy says people get angry when they're scared." "Are you scared about Mars?" Rebecca's smile faded. The 7-year-old had asked the question none of the adults dared to ask. "Yes," she said quietly. "I am scared." "Why?" Ash asked, tilting his head. Rebecca looked at all the faces on the screen. Scientists, billionaires, space experts, all waiting for her answer. "Because Mars is very far away," she said slowly, "and when people go there, they might not come back. That scares me." Ash nodded seriously. "My daddy says being scared is okay. He was scared when he first rode his bike without training wheels." "Really?" Rebecca asked. "Yep, but he did it anyway because he wanted to go fast." "Are you scared because you want people to be safe?" "Yes," Rebecca said, her voice getting softer. "I want everyone to be safe. Then you'll help keep them safe," Ash said with perfect 7-year-old logic. "That's why Daddy asked you to help. Because you're smart and you care about people." The call went completely silent. A child had just solved the emotional puzzle that adults had been dancing around for an hour. Elon felt his throat get tight. His son had done it again. Cut through all the business talk and found the heart of the matter. "You know what, Ash?" Viktor Petrov said with a warm smile. "You should be mission commander. You understand people better than us grown-ups." Ash giggled. "I'm too little to fly rockets." "Maybe now," James Wu said. "But by the time we get to Mars, you'll be older. Maybe you'll want to visit." Ash's eyes got huge. "Really? I could go to Mars?" "If you study hard and learn about rockets," Dr. Chen said, "anything is possible." Elon looked down at his son, then back at the screen full of new partners and friends. "You want to say goodbye to everyone, buddy? Daddy needs to finish the meeting." "Okay." Ash waved at the camera. "Bye, space friends. Thanks for making my daddy's dream come true." He hopped down from Elon's lap and skipped out of the room, still holding his drawing. The adults sat in silence for a moment. Out of the mouths of babes, James Wu said softly, "He's right, you know," Dr. Chen added. "We are all scared, but we're doing it anyway." Rebecca Sterling wiped her eyes. "Smart kid. Smarter than his old man." "Hey," Elon protested, but he was smiling. "So," Viktor Petrov said, "when do we start building rockets?" "Tomorrow," Elon said. "We start tomorrow." The call was ending on the highest note possible. 6 strangers had become partners. Partners had become friends. And a 7-year-old boy had reminded them all why they were really doing this. For the children. For the future. For dreams that seemed impossible until someone made them real. Those words hung in the air as the team prepared to end their historic call. But Viktor Petrov cleared his throat. "Before we finish," he said slowly, "I must share something. A secret that could change everything." Everyone on the screen froze. Victor's serious face looked even more stern than usual. "What kind of secret?" Dr. Chen asked carefully. Victor looked around his office, as if checking for listeners. Snow was still falling outside his window in Moscow. For 5 years, Russia has been working on nuclear propulsion. Not the old kind that takes forever. New kind. Very fast. Elon leaned forward. How fast? 3 months to Mars instead of 7. The silence on the call was complete. 3 months instead of 7 would change everything. Less food needed, less radiation exposure, less time for things to go wrong. Why tell us now? Rebecca asked. Victor's weathered face showed a mix of pride and worry. Because my government will only share this technology if the mission truly represents all humanity. Not just America. Not just the West. Everyone. James Wu whistled softly. Nuclear propulsion to Mars. That's incredible. It's also dangerous, Dr. Chen said. Nuclear anything in space makes people nervous. Is it safe? David Kim asked. Victor nodded. Safer than chemical rockets. No explosions. Very reliable. We have tested it for 2 years in secret. Elon's mind was racing. Nuclear propulsion would solve dozens of problems. Shorter trips meant healthier astronauts, less food and water needed. Faster emergency returns to Earth. What would Russia want in return? Elon asked. Equal partnership, Victor said firmly. Russian cosmonauts on every mission. Russian names on Mars cities. Russian flag next to American flag. Rebecca Sterling had been quiet, thinking hard. Victor, she said finally, why are you really telling us this? The old Russian engineer looked surprised by the direct question. What do you mean? Rebecca continued, your government could build their own Mars mission with this technology. Why share with us? Victor was quiet for a long moment. When he spoke, his voice was softer than before. You want truth? I am 73 years old. I have worked on rockets since I was 25. My whole life in space program. He paused, looking at his hands. I have seen what happens when countries compete instead of cooperate. Cold War. Space race. Wasted money. Wasted time. Wasted lives. His voice got stronger. My granddaughter is 8 years old. Same age as your son, Elon. When she asks about Mars, I don't want to tell her that Russians and Americans are fighting again. I want to tell her that smart people work together to do impossible things. Dr. Chen was nodding. The International Space Station proved that cooperation works. Exactly, Victor said. ISS is most successful space project in history. Why? Because we shared everything. Knowledge, resources, dreams. David Kim was getting excited. This changes the whole timeline. 3 months to Mars means we could launch sooner. How much sooner? James Wu asked. Elon was already calculating. If Russian nuclear propulsion is ready, we could launch the first human mission in 2 years instead of 3. Rebecca looked worried again. That's faster than I'm comfortable with. Why? Elon asked. Rebecca stood up from her chair and started pacing behind her desk. Because fast decisions lead to big mistakes. My father always rushed into new technology. That's why so many of his projects failed. She stopped pacing and looked directly at the camera. I want to share something too. Something I've never told anyone in business before. Everyone waited. My real fear about this Mars mission isn't the money, it's not even the danger. Her voice got quiet. My fear is that I'm just like my father. The dreamer who throws money at impossible things and calls it vision. She sat back down, looking smaller than before. What if we're all wrong? What if Mars is just an expensive fantasy? What if we spend $50 billion and all we get is dead astronauts and broken dreams? The call went silent. Rebecca had voiced the fear that everyone felt but nobody wanted to say. Elon spoke first. You want to know what I think about every night? The same thing. What if I'm wrong? What if I'm just a rich guy playing with rockets while real problems go unsolved? He looked directly at Rebecca through the camera. But then I remember something my mom told me when I was Ash's age. She said the biggest risk isn't trying and failing. The biggest risk is not trying at all. Dr. Chen nodded. Every astronaut I've ever trained has the same fear. What if something goes wrong? But they go anyway, because the mission matters more than the fear. Viktor Petrov was nodding too. In Soviet space program we had saying fear is rocket fuel. It makes you careful, but it also makes you go. James Wu leaned toward his camera. Rebecca, I've built 3 companies that failed before I built one that succeeded. Failure isn't the opposite of success. It's part of success, David Kim added. My first cryptocurrency lost $1 million of my own money. I learned more from that failure than from all my successes. Rebecca was listening to each person, her face thoughtful. So you're all scared too? She asked. Terrified, Elon admitted. Every day, Dr. Chen agreed. Of course, Victor said with a shrug. Only idiots are not scared of space. Rebecca Sterling sat quietly for a moment. Then, slowly, she started to smile. You know what? My father was scared too. I found his journals after he died. Page after page of worries and fears. But he kept going anyway. She looked around at all the faces on her screen. Maybe being scared isn't a reason to quit. Maybe it's a reason to be more careful, more thoughtful, more determined. Elon felt something shift inside him. These people weren't just business partners anymore. They were friends who trusted each other with their deepest fears. So, he said, are we really doing this? Nuclear propulsion, international crew, 2-year timeline? Day, Victor said firmly. Russia commits nuclear technology. NASA commits full support. Dr. Chen added. $4 billion, carefully spent, Rebecca said. Blockchain funding and total transparency. David promised. Everything I have, James Wu declared. Elon looked around at his new partners and friends. 6 people from different countries, different backgrounds, different fears, but one shared dream. Then let's go to Mars, he said. The call was ending, but something new was beginning. Not just a business partnership, but a friendship. Not just a space mission, but a family of dreamers willing to risk everything for something bigger than themselves. As they said goodbye and logged off one by one, each person felt the same thing. This was just the beginning. The participants were logging off one by one, their faces glowing with excitement and purpose. Dr. Chen waved goodbye from NASA headquarters. Viktor Petrov nodded formally from snowy Moscow. James Wu gave a thumbs up from his glass office tower. Talk tomorrow, everyone, David Kim called out before his window disappeared. Rebecca Sterling was the last to leave. She looked different now, younger somehow, like the weight of old fears had been lifted from her shoulders. Elon, she said, thank you for letting us see the real you today. Your son is lucky to have such an honest father. Thank you for trusting us with your story about your dad, Elon replied. He'd be proud of what you're doing. Rebecca smiled. A real smile this time, not the cold business expression from earlier. See you Monday for the first planning meeting, she said, then logged off. Elon sat back in his chair, alone in his office for the first time in 2 hours. The silence felt strange after all the voices and excitement. He looked at his computer screen, now showing just his own reflection. $50 billion committed. 6 countries working together. Nuclear propulsion technology. A 2-year timeline to Mars. It seemed too good to be true. Maybe it was. Elon's phone buzzed on his desk. A text message from Gwynne Shotwell, SpaceX's president and chief operating officer. She was at Starbase in Texas, overseeing rocket tests. The message was short. Call me immediately. We have a problem. Elon's stomach dropped. Gwen never panicked. She was the calm one, the steady one who kept SpaceX running while he dreamed big dreams. He speed dialed her number. Gwen, what's wrong? Her voice was tight with worry. Elon, you need to sit down. I am sitting down. What happened? Starship SN-47 exploded during the engine test 15 minutes ago. The words hit Elon like a punch to the chest. SN-47 was their most advanced prototype. Months of work. Millions of dollars. The rocket that was supposed to prove they could safely carry humans to Mars. How bad? He asked, though he dreaded the answer. Total loss. The whole vehicle is gone. But that's not the worst part. Elon's hands started shaking. What's the worst part? The explosion wasn't normal. Our engineers are saying it looks like sabotage. The office started spinning around Elon. Sabotage? Who would sabotage a Mars mission? Why would anyone want to stop humanity from exploring space? Are you sure? He asked weakly. Marcus Rodriguez from security is flying down from LA right now. He wants to talk to you immediately. Marcus Rodriguez, former CIA agent, SpaceX's head of security. If Marcus was involved, this was serious. Gwen, I just finished the most important call of my life. We got everyone to commit $50 billion. International cooperation. Everything we dreamed of.
I know, I watched the stock price jump when news of the partnership leaked. But Elon,
Her voice got even quieter. If someone is sabotaging our rockets, we can't risk human lives. We might have to delay everything. Elon felt his world collapsing. 2 hours ago, he was planning to change history. Now he might have to tell his new partners that someone was trying to kill their dream. Send me the video footage, he said. Already in your email. Elon opened his laptop and found Gwen's message. The video file was labeled Confidential SN-47 Explosion. He clicked play. The video showed Starship SN-47 standing tall and proud on the launch pad. Steam vented from the sides as liquid oxygen and methane filled the fuel tanks. Everything looked normal. Then the engines ignited for the test. For 3 seconds, everything was perfect. 33 Raptor engines burning clean blue flames. The rocket held down by massive clamps for the static fire test. Then, without warning, the entire vehicle exploded. Not a normal explosion. Not an engine failure or fuel leak. The whole rocket came apart at once, like someone had pressed a self-destruct button. Elon watched the video 3 times. Each time, his heart sank deeper. Daddy? Elon spun around. Ash was standing in the doorway, still holding his Mars drawing from earlier. What's wrong, Daddy? You look sad. Elon quickly closed his laptop. How do you explain sabotage and explosions to a 7-year-old? Just work stuff, buddy. Nothing for you to worry about. But Ash was smart. He could see through adult lies better than most grown-ups could see through each other. Did something happen to the rocket, he asked, walking closer. Elon couldn't lie to those innocent eyes. Yes, he said quietly. Something bad happened to one of our rockets. Did it break? Yes, it broke very badly. Ash climbed into his father's lap, just like he had during the call. Are you gonna fix it? Elon hugged his son tight. Such a simple question. Such a complicated answer. I don't know, buddy. This one might not be fixable. Then you'll build a better one, Ash said with perfect 7-year-old confidence. That's what you always do when things break. You make them better. Elon's phone buzzed again. Another text from Gwen. Marcus found something. You're not gonna like it. Then another buzz. This time from Marcus Rodriguez himself. The sabotage came from inside. Someone with access codes did this. We have a traitor. Elon's blood turned cold. A traitor. Someone inside SpaceX had deliberately destroyed their most important rocket. Someone who knew about the Mars mission. Someone who wanted it to fail. Daddy, why are you shaking? Ash asked. Elon realized his hands were trembling. His son was still in his lap, looking up at him with worried eyes. I'm just thinking hard about how to fix things, Elon said, trying to keep his voice steady. But inside, his mind was racing. Who would do this? Who had access to SpaceX systems? Who knew enough about rockets to sabotage them perfectly? And most terrifying of all, was it someone who had been on the call today? Someone who smiled and shook hands and promised billions of dollars, then went behind everyone's back to destroy the dream they claimed to support? Elon looked down at Ash's drawing. Stick figures holding hands on Mars. Everyone working together. Everyone trusting each other. But what if one of those stick figures was lying? What if the person trying to stop the Mars mission had been sitting right there on the Zoom call, pretending to be a friend while planning to destroy everything? Elon's phone rang. Marcus Rodriguez. We need to talk, Marcus said without introduction. And we need to talk now. I have evidence that will shock you. What kind of evidence? The kind that points to someone you trust. Someone who was probably in your office today. Elon looked at Ash's innocent face, then at his computer screen showing the last traces of the Zoom call. 6 people had committed to the Mars mission today. But maybe one of them had been lying the whole time. The dream that had seemed so perfect 2 hours ago was turning into a nightmare. And Elon had no idea who he could trust anymore. The phone kept buzzing in his hand. Marcus Rodriguez was waiting for an answer. But with Ash still sitting in his lap, Elon couldn't talk about sabotage and traitors. Buddy, he said gently, Daddy needs to take this call. Can you go find Carmen? Maybe she'll make you a snack. Are you sure you're okay? Ash asked, studying his father's face with those wise 7-year-old eyes. I will be, Elon said, trying to sound more confident than he felt. I promise. Ash slid down from the chair and headed for the door, but he stopped and turned back. Daddy, when Mr. Sparky was broken, you didn't throw him away, you fixed him. Then he was gone, leaving Elon alone with his fears and his buzzing phone. Elon answered the call. Marcus, tell me everything. Not over the phone, Marcus said. Too risky. I'm flying to Austin tonight. Can you meet me at the SpaceX facility at midnight? Why so late? Because whoever did this might be watching. Midnight is safer. Elon looked at his computer screen, still showing the frozen Zoom call window. 6 smiling faces. 6 people he had trusted with humanity's future. Do you really think it was someone from the call? Elon asked. I think someone knew exactly when to strike for maximum damage. Right after your big announcement. Right when hope was highest. Marcus was right. The timing was too perfect to be coincident. I'll be there at midnight, Elon said. The next few hours crawled by like days. Elon tried to have dinner with Ash, tried to read him bedtime stories, tried to act normal, but his mind kept spinning with questions. Was it Viktor Petrov? Russia had a history of space program secrets. Maybe sharing nuclear technology was a trap. Was it Rebecca Sterling? She had been the most resistant. Maybe her father's business partner had convinced her to sabotage the mission to protect oil interests. Was it one of the others? James Wu, David Kim, even Dr. Chen from NASA? By the time midnight came, Elon felt sick with worry. The SpaceX facility was dark and empty. Security let him in through the back entrance. Marcus Rodriguez was waiting in the conference room, surrounded by computer screens and file folders. Marcus was a short, stocky man with graying hair and intense brown eyes. He had worked for the CIA for 15 years before joining SpaceX. If anyone could find a traitor, it was Marcus. Show me what you found, Elon said. Marcus pulled up security footage on his computer. The explosion happened at 3:47 p.m. Right, but look at this. Marcus clicked play on a different video. This is from inside the Starship fuel system at 3:45 p.m. 2 minutes before the explosion. The video showed the rocket's internal systems. Everything looked normal. Then suddenly, a valve opened that should have stayed closed. Fuel began mixing in the wrong chamber. Someone opened that valve remotely, Marcus said, using SpaceX computer codes. How is that possible? Someone with high-level access planted a virus in our system. It waited for the right moment, then triggered the explosion. Elon's stomach dropped. Who has high-level access? Marcus handed him a printed list. 43 people worldwide. All SpaceX employees, NASA partners, and approved contractors. Elon scanned the names. People he trusted. People he worked with every day. But here's the interesting part. Marcus continued. The virus was activated by an external signal. Someone outside SpaceX triggered it. Outside? How? Internet connection. The signal came through our secure network, but it originated from somewhere else. Marcus pulled up another screen showing network traffic data. Lines of code and IP addresses that made no sense to Elon. I traced the signal back to its source, Marcus said quietly. You're not gonna like this. He clicked one more button. An address appeared on the screen. Sterling Energy Corporation. Houston, Texas. Elon's heart stopped. Rebecca? The signal came from her company's network. But Elon. Marcus paused. I don't think Rebecca Sterling did this herself. What do you mean? Marcus pulled out a thick file folder. I did background checks on everyone from your call today. Rebecca Sterling has been preparing to transform her company towards space resources for 6 months. She's already spent millions on new equipment and research. Then who? Someone else at Sterling Energy. Someone who doesn't want the company to change. Someone who sees Mars colonization as a threat to the oil business. Marcus opened the file and pulled out a photograph. An older man with silver hair and cold gray eyes. Vincent Cross, Rebecca's father's former business partner. He's been with Sterling Energy for 30 years. He owns 15% of the company and sits on the board of directors. Elon stared at the photo. Why would he sabotage us? Because if Mars colonization succeeds, it could end humanity's dependence on fossil fuels. Vincent Cross would lose billions. Maybe tens of billions. But Rebecca doesn't know. I don't think so. Cross has been very careful. He probably used Rebecca's network access while she was in meetings. Made it look like the sabotage came from her. Elon felt relief and anger at the same time. Relief that Rebecca hadn't betrayed them. Anger that someone was trying to destroy humanity's future for money. What do we do now? He asked. We have two choices, Marcus said. Option 1. Go to the police. Arrest Vincent Cross. But that could take months, and he might have planted more viruses in our systems. What's option 2? We set a trap. Feed him false information and see if he takes the bait. If he does, we'll have proof, and we can stop him before he strikes again. Elon thought about Ash's words. When Mr. Sparky was broken, you didn't throw him away. You fixed him. What kind of trap? He asked. Marcus smiled for the first time that night. We're gonna give Mr. Cross exactly what he wants. Information about our most secret Mars technology. Information that's too tempting to ignore. Fake information? The best kind. Just real enough to seem important. Just wrong enough to expose him when he acts on it. Elon looked at the photo of Vincent Cross again. This man was willing to destroy humanity's dreams for profit. He was willing to risk astronauts' lives to protect his oil money. Do it, Elon said. Set the trap. There's one more thing, Marcus said quietly. We'll need Rebecca's help. If Cross is using her network, we need her to know what's happening. Elon nodded. I'll call her first thing tomorrow. As he drove home through the empty Austin streets, Elon thought about trust. How quickly it could be broken. How hard it was to rebuild, but also how powerful it could be when people chose to believe in each other despite the risks. Tomorrow, he would have to tell his new partners that their dream was under attack, that someone was trying to destroy everything they had built together, but he wouldn't do it alone. Together, they would catch the saboteur. Together, they would protect the Mars mission. Together, they would prove that dreams were stronger than greed. The next morning, Elon sat in his office at 6 a.m., watching the sun rise over Austin. He had barely slept. Every time he closed his eyes, he saw the starship exploding over and over again. His coffee had gone cold an hour ago, but he didn't notice. He was staring at his phone, trying to figure out how to call Rebecca Sterling. How do you tell someone that their business partner might be a saboteur? How do you ask someone to spy on their own company? Ash wandered in wearing Spider-Man pajamas and carrying his stuffed rocket ship. Morning, Daddy. You're up early. Morning, buddy. Couldn't sleep. Ash climbed into the chair next to Elon's desk. Is it because of the broken rocket? Elon looked at his son's innocent face. Sometimes he forgot how smart Ash was. How much he noticed. Yeah, the broken rocket is causing big problems. Are you going to call your space friends for help? Elon smiled despite everything. That's exactly what I'm going to do. He picked up his phone and dialed Rebecca Sterling's number. It was 7 a.m. in Houston. Early, but not too early for someone who ran an oil company. Elon? Rebecca's voice sounded surprised. Is everything okay? We need to talk. Privately. It's about the explosion yesterday. What explosion? Elon's stomach dropped. She didn't know. Our Starship prototype exploded during testing yesterday afternoon. The line went quiet. Then, oh my God. Was anyone hurt? No injuries? But Rebecca, we think it was sabotage. And the trail leads back to your company. Another long silence. That's impossible. I know, I don't think you did it. But someone at Sterling Energy might have used your computer systems to attack our rocket. Elon, this is crazy. Why would anyone at my company sabotage SpaceX? Elon took a deep breath. Because Mars colonization could hurt the oil business. Because some people would rather destroy the future than change with it. Rebecca's voice got very quiet. You think someone here is trying to stop the Mars mission? I think someone there is willing to kill people to protect oil profits. Ash was listening to every word, his eyes getting bigger. What do you need from me? Rebecca asked. Help us catch whoever is doing this. We want to set a trap. What kind of trap? Elon explained Marcus Rodriguez's plan. They would create fake technical documents about a new Mars propulsion system. Something so advanced and secret that any saboteur would have to act on it. We'll share the fake documents with everyone on our team, Elon said. But each person gets slightly different information. When the saboteur strikes, we'll know exactly who leaked the information. That's brilliant, Rebecca said. But Elon, what if you're wrong? What if the saboteur isn't at my company? Then we'll find out who it really is. But Rebecca, his voice got serious. If I'm right, you could be in danger. Someone willing to destroy rockets might be willing to hurt people. Ash grabbed his father's arm. Daddy, is the nice oil lady in trouble? Elon covered the phone. Maybe, buddy. But we're gonna help her. Rebecca had heard Ash's voice. Is that your son? Yeah, he's worried about you. Tell him I'm going to be very careful. And tell him thank you for caring about the angry lady from the computer. Despite everything. Elon smiled. He says you're not angry anymore. You're just scared. Smart kid. He's right. I am scared. They spent the next hour planning the trap. Rebecca would quietly monitor her company's computer network. Marcus Rodriguez would create the fake documents. Elon would share them with the team and wait to see who took the bait. One more thing, Rebecca said before they hung up. I want to meet with my board of directors today. Ask some questions about who has access to our computer systems. Be careful, Elon warned. Don't let them know what you're really looking for. After Rebecca hung up, Ash looked at his father with serious eyes. Daddy, why do some people try to break other people's dreams? It was a big question for a 7-year-old. But maybe that's why children asked the best questions. They weren't afraid of big answers. Sometimes, buddy, people get scared when the world changes. They think if other people succeed, they will fail. But that's not true, right? If you go to Mars, it doesn't hurt anyone. You're right. Going to Mars would help everyone. New medicines, new technologies, new homes for people who need them. Ash nodded seriously. So the person trying to stop you is just scared. Yeah, very scared. And scared people sometimes do bad things. Will you still be friends with them after you catch them? Elon paused. That was a harder question. Could you forgive someone who tried to destroy humanity's future? Could you forgive someone who was willing to risk astronauts' lives for money? I don't know, buddy. Some things are hard to forgive. But you taught me that everyone deserves a second chance. This is different. This person could have gotten people killed. Ash thought about this for a moment, swinging his legs in the chair. Maybe they need help understanding why Mars is good, he said finally. Maybe they just don't know about the flowers and sandcastles and tree houses. Elon looked at his son with amazement. Even in the middle of sabotage and betrayal, Ash was thinking about helping the person who was trying to hurt them. You know what, buddy? You're gonna make an amazing astronaut someday. Really, really. Because the best astronauts aren't just brave. They're also kind. The rest of the morning was spent preparing the trap. Marcus created 3 different versions of fake documents about quantum propulsion drives and zero-point energy systems. All scientific nonsense, but impressive enough to fool someone who wasn't a rocket scientist. Dr. Chen received version A. Viktor Petrov got version B. The investors, James Wu, David Kim, and Rebecca Sterling, all received version C. If the saboteurs struck again, they would know exactly which version had been leaked. By noon, the trap was set. Now they just had to wait and see who would take the bait. Elon spent the afternoon trying to work normally, but his mind kept wandering. Every phone call could be the one telling him about another explosion. Every email could contain news of another attack. Ash stayed close to his father all day, sensing the tension. He drew pictures of rockets landing safely on Mars. Pictures of astronauts planting gardens and building playgrounds. Pictures of a future where dreams came true despite the people trying to stop them. At 5 p.m. Marcus called. Someone took the bait, he said grimly. Already? Which version? Version C. The one we sent to the investors. Elon's heart sank. So it's Rebecca, James, or David? Not necessarily. Version C was also the one Rebecca shared with her board of directors. Vincent Cross? We'll know soon. I'm monitoring all network traffic from Sterling Energy. If Cross makes a move, we'll catch him. As evening fell over Austin, Elon sat in his office with Ash, waiting for news. The little boy was curled up in his father's lap, almost asleep. Daddy? Ash mumbled drowsily. Yeah, buddy. When we catch the bad person, will you tell them about the sandcastles on Mars? Maybe, Ash. Maybe I will. Because sometimes the best way to fight darkness wasn't with more darkness. Sometimes the best way to fight fear was with dreams. At 11 p.m. that night, Elon's phone exploded with calls and messages. First Marcus, then Rebecca, then calls from numbers he didn't recognize. Ash had fallen asleep hours ago in the office chair. Elon gently carried him to the couch and covered him with a SpaceX blanket before answering his phone. Marcus? What's happening? We got him, Marcus said, his voice tight with excitement. Vincent Cross took the bait. He's been trying to hack our fake quantum propulsion files for the last 4 hours. You're sure it's him? Positive. We traced his digital fingerprints all over Sterling Energy's network. He's been using Rebecca's access codes for months. Elon felt a mix of relief and anger. Relief that they had caught the saboteur. Anger that someone would risk human lives for money. Where is he now? That's the problem. He's gone. Left Sterling Energy headquarters around 9 p.m. His security badge shows he accessed the building's server room one last time. Then disappeared. Disappeared? His phone is off. His car isn't at his house. Rebecca is trying to reach him, but he's not answering. Elon's phone buzzed with another call. Rebecca Sterling. Marcus. Hold on. Rebecca's calling. He switched lines. Rebecca, are you okay? Her voice was shaky. Elon, I confronted Vincent. I asked him directly if he knew anything about computer attacks on SpaceX. What did he say? He didn't deny it, he said. Her voice broke. He said he was protecting American energy independence. He said Mars colonization would destroy millions of jobs and make America weak. Elon closed his eyes. He had heard this argument before. People who thought progress meant someone had to lose. Where is he now? I don't know. But Elon, there's something else. Something worse. What? Before he left, Vincent accessed our company's emergency funds. He transferred $20 million to offshore accounts. He stole $20 million? It gets worse. I think he's planning something bigger. I found emails on his computer. He's been in contact with other people who oppose the Mars mission. Elon's blood went cold.
What kind of other people?
Politicians who want to cut NASA's budget. Oil executives from other companies. Even some foreign agents who don't want America to succeed in space. You think this is bigger than just Vincent? I think Vincent is part of something much bigger. A group of people who want to stop Mars colonization by any means necessary. Elon looked over at Ash sleeping peacefully on the couch. His son didn't know that there were people in the world who would destroy dreams to protect their own wealth. Rebecca, are you safe? I have security with me. But Elon, I'm scared. Not for me. For the mission. If this group has $20 million in connections in government, she didn't need to finish. $20 million could buy a lot of sabotage. Government connections could shut down the Mars mission through regulations and investigations. What do we do? Elon asked. I have an idea, but you're not gonna like it. Tell me. I want to offer Vincent a deal. A way out that doesn't destroy everything we've worked for. Elon almost laughed. Rebecca, he tried to kill our astronauts. He stole your money. Why would you help him? Because your son is right. Sometimes the best way to fight fear is with understanding. Elon looked at Ash again. Even asleep, his son was teaching adults how to be better people. What kind of deal? I transformed Sterling Energy into a space resource company like we planned. But I also create a new division focused on Earth-based clean energy. Wind farms, solar panels, geothermal systems. I don't understand. The oil industry doesn't have to die for Mars to succeed. Those workers Vincent is worried about, they can build solar panels and wind turbines. The same skills, just different energy sources. Elon was quiet, thinking, you want to prove that Mars helps Earth instead of hurting it. Exactly. Mars colonies will need massive amounts of clean energy technology. Developing that technology will create millions of jobs on Earth. But Vincent already sabotaged us. He already chose crime over cooperation. Then we give him a chance to choose differently. Elon's other phone line was still holding. Marcus Rodriguez, waiting for instructions. Rebecca, hold on. He switched back to Marcus. Marcus, any luck tracking Vincent? Actually, yes. We found his car at Austin Bergstrom Airport. He boarded a private jet to the Cayman Islands 2 hours ago. The Cayman Islands? Why? Probably to access the money he stole. But Elon, there's more. The FBI wants to talk to you tomorrow morning. They're opening a formal investigation into the sabotage. Good. Vincent needs to face justice. It's not that simple. If this becomes a big FBI investigation, it could delay the Mars mission for years. Every rocket will need extra safety inspections. Every partner will need security clearance. Every decision will need government approval. Elon's heart sank. Marcus was right. Government investigations could kill the Mars mission more effectively than any saboteur. So what do? We could handle this privately. Corporate security instead of FBI. Faster, cleaner, less publicity. Is that legal? As long as Vincent returns the money and stops the sabotage, Sterling Energy could choose not to press charges. Elon switched back to Rebecca. Rebecca, I just talked to Marcus. Vincent is in the Cayman Islands, probably accessing the money he stole. I know. My bank just called. He's trying to transfer the funds to accounts in Switzerland and Russia. Russia? I think he's planning to sell SpaceX secrets to foreign governments. Our rocket technology, our Mars plans, everything. Elon felt sick. Bad enough that Vincent wanted to stop the Mars mission. But selling American space technology to other countries? That was treason. We have to stop him, Elon said. I have a plan, but I need your permission to try something crazy. How crazy? I want to call Vincent directly. Offer him a choice. Come back and work with us to create clean energy jobs, or face FBI investigation for sabotage and treason. Elon looked at Ash sleeping under the SpaceX blanket. His son believed in second chances, even for people who tried to hurt them. You really think he might say yes? I think fear makes people do terrible things, but hope can make them do amazing things. And if he says no, then we turn everything over to the FBI and let justice take its course. Elon made his decision. Make the call. 20 minutes later, Rebecca called back. He answered. She said, her voice full of surprise. What did he say? He said he's been carrying his father's fears his whole life. His dad lost his job when the coal industry died. Vincent promised himself he'd never let that happen to oil workers. So he's scared, just like your son said. Scared that change means people get hurt. Did you offer him the deal? Yes. Clean energy jobs for oil workers. A chance to be part of the solution instead of part of the problem. Elon held his breath. What did he say? Rebecca was quiet for a long moment. He said he needs to think about it. But Elon, he didn't say no. For the first time in days, Elon felt hope instead of fear. Maybe dreams really were stronger than greed. Maybe second chances could change everything. Maybe his son was right about fighting darkness with light. 3 days passed in tense waiting. Vincent Cross hadn't returned Rebecca's calls. The stolen $20 million remained frozen in Cayman Islands banks. And every hour that passed made Elon more worried about what Vincent might do next. On Friday morning, Elon decided to hold another video call with the Mars team. They needed to know what was happening. They deserved the truth about the sabotage, even if it was scary. But first, he had breakfast with Ash. Daddy, you look tired, Ash said, pouring too much syrup on his pancakes. I haven't been sleeping well, buddy. Is it because of the bad man who broke your rocket? Elon paused with his coffee cup halfway to his mouth. How do you know about that? Ash shrugged. I hear things. Adults think kids don't listen. But we do. Sometimes his son's wisdom surprised him. What else do you hear? Carmen says you're trying to help the bad man instead of punish him. She thinks you're crazy. Elon smiled despite his worries. Carmen, their housekeeper, had strong opinions about right and wrong. What do you think? Elon asked. Ash considered this seriously while cutting his pancakes into perfect squares. I think the bad man is sad inside. Like Tommy at school when he pushed me down. He wasn't really mean. He was just sad because his parents got divorced. So you forgave Tommy? I helped him build a fort at recess. Now we're friends. Elon looked at his son with amazement. 7 years old, and already wiser about human nature than most adults. Maybe you should be in charge of the Mars mission, Elon said. Can I? That would be so cool. At 10 a.m., Elon started the video call. One by one, the familiar faces appeared on his screen. Dr. Chen from NASA headquarters. Viktor Petrov from snowy Moscow. James Wu and David Kim from their offices. Rebecca Sterling joined last. She looked exhausted, with dark circles under her eyes. "Good morning, everyone," Elon began. "I need to tell you about some problems we've been having." He explained everything. The Starship explosion, the sabotage investigation, Vincent Cross and the stolen money, the larger conspiracy against the Mars mission. When he finished, the call was completely quiet. Dr. Chen spoke first. "This is serious, Elon. NASA will need to review all our security protocols." Viktor Petrov looked grim. "In Russia, we call this industrial espionage. Very dangerous." James Wu was shaking his head. $20 million? This guy was really committed to stopping us. "The question is," David Kim said, "are we safe? Are our other rockets safe?" "We think so," Elon replied. "Marcus Rodriguez has been checking all our systems. No more virus or sabotage programs." "But what about Vincent Cross?" Dr. Chen asked. "Where is he now?" Rebecca Sterling looked uncomfortable. "He's still in the Cayman Islands. I've been trying to tree him, but..." She paused, looking at something off camera. "But what?" Elon asked. "Hold on," Rebecca said. "My assistant is trying to tell me something." She muted her microphone and talked to someone they couldn't see. Her face went pale. When she unmuted, her voice was shaky. "Vincent just called my office. He wants to meet." "Meet where?" Elon asked. "Here, in Houston. Tomorrow morning." "That's crazy," James Wu said. "He's a fugitive. Why would he come back?" "I don't know. But he said..." Rebecca paused. "He said he has information that will shock everyone. About the Mars mission." Viktor Petrov leaned forward. "What kind of information?" "He wouldn't say over the phone, but he promised to return the stolen money if I agree to meet with him." Elon felt his stomach twist. "Rebecca, this could be a trap." "I know. But what if he's telling the truth? What if there's something about the Mars mission that we don't know?" "Like what?" Dr. Chen asked. "I have no idea." But Vincent sounded different. Not angry or scared like before. He sounded sad. Ash's voice carried from the kitchen where he was playing with toy rockets. "Daddy, the bad man called? Is he ready to be friends now?" Everyone on the call heard Ash's innocent question. Rebecca Sterling smiled, despite her worry. "Tell your son, I hope so." "So what do we do?" David Kim asked. Elon thought about Ash's story. Tommy the playground bully, who became a friend. Second chances. Light fighting darkness. "We meet with him," Elon said finally. "Elon, that's dangerous," Dr. Chen warned. "Maybe. But Rebecca won't be alone. I'll fly to Houston tonight. We'll meet with Vincent together." "I'm coming too," James Wu said immediately. "And me," David Kim added. Viktor Petrov nodded on the screen. "I cannot travel quickly from Moscow, but I support this meeting." Dr. Chen looked worried. "This goes against all my security training. But if Vincent Cross has information that affects the mission, NASA needs to know." Rebecca was quiet for a moment. "You'd all do that? Come to Houston to help me. We're partners," Elon said simply. "Partners stick together, even when one partner's business associate turns out to be a saboteur." Rebecca asked. "Especially then," Victor said with a rare smile. The call ended with plans to meet in Houston the next morning. Everyone except Victor, who would participate by video from Moscow. But as Elon packed his overnight bag, a nagging worry ate at him. What information could Vincent Cross have that would shock them? What didn't they know about their own Mars mission? And why did Vincent sound sad instead of angry? That evening, as Elon's plane lifted off from Austin, he looked down at the lights of SpaceX's factory. Tomorrow, he would face the man who had tried to destroy everything they were building. But instead of anger, Elon felt something unexpected. Curiosity. What secrets was Vincent Cross carrying? And would those secrets save the Mars mission or destroy it forever? The plane climbed higher into the dark sky, carrying Elon toward answers he wasn't sure he wanted to hear. The next morning, Houston's skyline gleamed in the early sunlight as Elon's taxi pulled up to Sterling Urgent headquarters. The building was a glass tower that reached toward the clouds, much like the rockets Elon built. James Wu and David Kim were already waiting in the lobby. They looked nervous but determined. "Any word from Vincent?" James asked as Elon approached. "Rebecca texted me 20 minutes ago. He's here." Arrived at 7 a.m. with a briefcase full of documents. David shook his head. I still think this is crazy. Meeting with someone who tried to sabotage us. Ash would say that's exactly why we need to meet with him. Elon replied. They took the elevator to the 40th floor, where Rebecca's office overlooked the entire city. Through the floor-to-ceiling windows, Elon could see the space center in the distance, where astronauts trained for missions that might never happen if today went wrong. Rebecca was waiting for them, along with 2 security guards and a man Elon had never seen before. Vincent Cross looked nothing like Elon had expected. He was older than in his photographs, maybe 65, with silver hair and tired eyes. His absenthed suit was wrinkled, and his hands shook slightly as he stood to greet them. Mr. Musk, Vincent said quietly, thank you for coming. I know you have every reason to hate me. Elon studied the man's face. He saw fear there, and sadness, but also something else. Relief. Maybe I don't hate you, Elon said carefully. But I don't trust you either. Vincent nodded. Fair enough. I wouldn't trust me either. They sat around Rebecca's conference table. Vincent placed his briefcase on the surface and opened it slowly, as if it contained explosives instead of papers. Before I show you these documents, Vincent said, I need to apologize. To all of you, but especially to Rebecca. Rebecca's face was stone. You stole from my company. You sabotaged rockets that could have killed people. I know, and I'll spend the rest of my life trying to make up for it. Why? James Wu asked bluntly. Why did you do it? Vincent's hands trembled as he pulled out a thick folder. Because I was scared. Because I thought Mars colonization would destroy millions of jobs. Because I believed the lies people told me about what your mission really meant. He opened the folder and spread photographs across the table. But 3 days ago, I learned the truth. And the truth is much worse than anything I imagined. The photographs showed documents, computer screens, and meeting rooms. Elon recognized some of the faces in the pictures, but others were strangers. Vincent, Rebecca said slowly. What are these? Evidence of a conspiracy. But not the conspiracy you think. Vincent pulled out a digital recorder and placed it on the table. I wasn't working alone. I was part of a group called the Earth First Coalition. Politicians, business leaders, foreign agents, all united by one goal: stop American space expansion by any means necessary. Elon felt cold. Foreign agents, Chinese military intelligence, Russian oligarchs who compete with your friend Victor, even some European politicians who don't want America to control Mars. Vincent pressed play on the recorder. Voices filled the room, speaking in English with various accents. The Mars mission must fail, said a voice with a Chinese accent. If America colonizes Mars first, they will control space forever. Sabotage is the cleanest option, said another voice. This one Russian. Make it look like American incompetence, not foreign interference. Elon's blood turned to ice. This wasn't just about oil money. This was about national security. How long has this been going on? David Kim asked. 2 years, Vincent replied. Ever since SpaceX announced serious Mars plans, the coalition has been planning multiple attacks on American space assets. Rebecca looked sick. And you helped them? I thought I was protecting American workers. But Rebecca, Vincent's voice broke. They were using me. They don't care about oil jobs or American workers. They just want to keep America on Earth while other countries explore space. He pulled out more documents. They have agents inside NASA, inside several aerospace companies, even inside the Pentagon. The rocket explosion was just the beginning. Dr. Chen's voice crackled through the laptop speaker. She had been listening to everything from NASA headquarters. Vincent, this is Dr. Sarah Chen. Are you saying there are foreign agents inside NASA? Yes. And they're planning something much bigger than sabotage. What could be bigger than sabotage? James Wu asked. Vincent's face went pale. They're planning to kidnap key personnel. Scientists, engineers, astronauts. Force them to work on Chinese and Russian space programs instead of American ones. The room went dead silent. When? Elon asked. Soon. Maybe within days. They know about this meeting. They know I'm talking to you. How do they know? Rebecca demanded. Vincent looked ashamed. Because I've been reporting everything to them for months. Every conversation, every plan, every secret, until 3 days ago. What changed 3 days ago? David asked. Vincent reached into his briefcase one more time and pulled out a child's drawing. It was crude, done in crayon, showing stick figures on a red planet. Everyone at the table recognized it immediately. My granddaughter drew this, Vincent said softly. She's 7 years old, same age as your son, Mr. Musk. She asked me to help her color in the astronauts. His voice got quieter. As we worked on the drawing together, she told me all about Mars, how people would build gardens there, and schools, and playgrounds, how kids like her might live there someday. Tears appeared in Vincent's eyes. That's when I realized what I'd been trying to destroy. Not just rockets or business plans. I was trying to destroy my granddaughter's future. Elon thought about Ash at home in Austin, probably playing with his toy rockets right now. Ash, who saw the best in everyone, even playground bullies and rocket saboteurs. So you decided to switch sides? Elon asked. I decided to tell the truth. Even if it destroys me. Viktor Petrov's voice came through the laptop from Moscow. Vincent Cross, you said there are Russian oligarchs in this coalition. Do you have names? Yes. And Chinese agents. And politicians from 6 different countries. Vincent pulled out a final document. A list of names and photographs. This is everyone I know about. Everyone who wants to stop American space exploration. Elon scanned the list. Some names were familiar from news reports. Others were complete strangers. All of them apparently willing to commit crimes to keep humanity trapped on Earth. What do you want from us? Rebecca asked. Help me stop them. Before they hurt people. Before they destroy the Mars mission forever. James Wu was studying the documents. This is enough evidence to bring down governments. Yes, but only if we act fast. The coalition knows I'm talking to you. They'll try to silence me, and probably all of you too. Dr. Chen's voice was urgent. I need to contact FBI counterintelligence immediately. No, Vincent said quickly. The coalition has people inside law enforcement too. Government channels are compromised. Then what do we do? David Kim asked. Vincent looked directly at Elon. We use your son's plan. My son's plan? Fight darkness with light. Make everything public. Hold a press conference. Show the world what the coalition is trying to do. Elon felt his heart racing. A press conference would expose everything. The sabotage, the conspiracy, the international plot against American space exploration. It would also make them all targets. If we go public, Rebecca said slowly, they'll try to stop us. They're already trying to stop us, Vincent pointed out. At least this way, the world will know why. Elon looked around the table at his partners and friends. People who had committed billions of dollars and years of their lives to reaching Mars. People who were now being hunted by foreign agents and traitors. When? He asked. Tomorrow, Vincent said. Before they can strike first. And you'll testify? Publicly? About everything? Vincent nodded. It's the least I can do. For my granddaughter. And for all the children who dream of touching the stars. The room fell silent as everyone processed what they had just learned. Foreign agents. International conspiracies. People willing to kidnap scientists to stop Mars colonization. Elon's phone buzzed. A text message from Carmen, his housekeeper. Ash asking when Daddy comes home. Says he has important rocket news to share. The message hit Elon like a punch to the stomach. Here he was, planning to expose international criminals who might try to hurt his family. And at home, his 7-year-old son was waiting with innocent excitement about toy rockets. I need to make a call, Elon said, standing up from the table. He walked to the corner of Rebecca's office and dialed his home number. Daddy. Ash's voice exploded through the phone. Carmen said you're in Houston. Are you meeting the sad rocket man? Yeah, buddy. I'm meeting him right now. Is he still sad? Elon looked across the room at Vincent Cross, who was quietly showing more documents to the others. The old man's eyes were red, and his hands still shook. Yes, he's still sad, but he's trying to fix the bad things he did. Good. That's what you're supposed to do when you make mistakes. Sometimes Ash's simple wisdom made complex adult problems seem solvable. Ash, I need to ask you something important. If Daddy had to go on TV and tell everyone about some bad people, would you be scared? On TV? Like a movie star?
Sort of.
But it might make some people angry at Daddy. Ash was quiet for a moment, thinking hard. Are the bad people trying to hurt your rocket friends? Yes. Are they trying to stop kids from going to Mars someday? Yes. Then you have to stop them, Daddy. That's what heroes do. Elon felt tears in his eyes. His 7-year-old son understood better than most adults what was at stake. But Ash, if I do this, some people might try to hurt our family. Are you scared of that? A little bit. But Daddy, you taught me that being brave doesn't mean you're not scared. It means you do the right thing even when you're scared. Elon's throat got tight. When did I teach you that? When I was afraid to go to school after Tommy pushed me down. You said heroes are just regular people who choose to help others even when it's scary. Elon remembered that conversation. It seemed like a lifetime ago. You're right, buddy. Heroes help others even when it's scary. So you're gonna be a hero on TV? Maybe. Would you be proud of your dad if he was a hero on TV? I'm already proud of you, Daddy. Every day. Elon wiped his eyes with the back of his hand. I love you, Ash. I love you too. Come home soon so I can show you my new rocket design. After he hung up, Elon stood by the window looking out at Houston's skyline. Somewhere out there, foreign agents were planning to kidnap scientists and destroy America's space program. But at home in Austin, a little boy was designing rockets and dreaming of Mars. Everything okay? Rebecca asked, walking over to join him. My son thinks I should do the press conference. He says that's what heroes do. Smart kid. What do you think? Elon was quiet for a moment, watching planes take off from Houston's airport in the distance. I think about all the children who draw pictures of astronauts and rockets. Kids like Ash, like Vincent's granddaughter, they believe the future is full of possibilities. He turned to face Rebecca. These coalition people want to steal that future. They want kids to grow up thinking space is impossible, that dreams are stupid, that only certain countries get to explore the stars. So you're saying yes to the press conference. I'm saying yes to fighting for every child who ever looked at the night sky and wondered what's out there. They walked back to the conference table, where Vincent was showing James Wu and David Kim more evidence of the conspiracy. The Chinese agents have been recruiting American aerospace engineers for 2 years. Vincent was saying, they offer huge salaries and threaten families if people refuse. Dr. Chen's voice crackled through the laptop from NASA. This explains some personnel losses we couldn't understand. People just disappearing from projects. Viktor Petrov spoke from Moscow. Russian oligarchs involved in this conspiracy are traitors to human progress. Real Russians support space exploration. Elon sat down and looked around the table at his partners. I just talked to my son. He says we should do the press conference. A 7-year-old is making this decision? James Wu asked with a smile. A 7-year-old who understands that some things are worth fighting for. David Kim nodded. My daughter is 6. When I tell her about Mars, her eyes light up like Christmas morning. These coalition people want to steal that light. My granddaughter too, Vincent said quietly. She asked me yesterday if girls can be astronauts. I told her girls can be anything they want to be, but only if we don't let fear stop progress. Rebecca was looking at the evidence spread across her conference table. If we do this press conference, my company will be attacked. The oil industry will say I'm a traitor. Are you scared? Elon asked. Terrified. Good. That means this matters. Rebecca smiled. You sound like your son. He's a good teacher. Dr. Chen's voice came through the laptop. NASA will support the press conference. We'll provide our own evidence of foreign infiltration. Viktor Petrov nodded on the screen. Russia will condemn the oligarchs publicly. True patriots support human exploration. James Wu was already making notes on his phone. I can get us live coverage on every major network. Global audience. When? David Kim asked. Tomorrow at noon, Elon said. From SpaceX headquarters in California, live broadcast to the world. Vincent looked nervous. They'll try to stop us. The coalition has resources we don't fully understand. Then we better make sure the whole world is watching, Rebecca said. They spent the next 3 hours planning every detail. Vincent would reveal the conspiracy. Rebecca would explain how her company was manipulated. Dr. Chen would present NASA's evidence. Victor would represent international cooperation, and Elon would explain why Mars mattered. Not for governments or companies, but for children everywhere who dared to dream big dreams. As the meeting broke up, Vincent approached Elon privately. "Mr. Musk, I need you to know something. The coalition has been watching your family." Elon's blood went cold. "What do you mean?" "Photos of your son at school. Records of his activities. They know his schedule, his teachers, everything. Are you saying they might try to hurt Ash?" "I'm saying they might try to use him to stop you. If you threaten to expose them, they might threaten him." Elon felt rage building inside him. These people were willing to threaten children to protect their conspiracy. "What do you suggest?" "Extra security. Maybe send him somewhere safe until after the press conference." Elon thought about Ash at home, probably playing with rockets and drawing pictures of Mars colonies. Innocent and trusting and completely unaware that there were people in the world who would hurt children to stop progress. "No," Elon said finally. "No. I won't hide my son from bullies. That's not what heroes do." Vincent looked confused. "But the danger is exactly why we have to fight. These people think they can scare us into silence by threatening our families. But fear only works if we let it." Elon looked out the window at the setting sun. "Tomorrow, the whole world will know what the coalition has been doing. And children everywhere will know that some adults are willing to fight for their dreams, no matter the cost." Vincent nodded slowly. "Your son is lucky to have you as a father. I'm lucky to have him as a teacher." As Elon flew back to Austin that evening, he thought about the press conference they had planned. In less than 18 hours, he would stand before the world and expose an international conspiracy. Foreign agents would be arrested. Government officials would resign. The Mars mission would either be saved or destroyed forever. But none of that mattered as much as the conversation he would have with Ash when he got home. Because tomorrow, his son would learn that sometimes grown-ups have to be very brave to protect the things children dream about. And sometimes children have to be brave too. Elon arrived home at midnight to find Ash still awake, sitting at the kitchen table with Carmen. He was working on a drawing by lamplight, his tongue sticking out in concentration. "Ash, what are you doing up so late?" His son looked up with excited eyes. "I couldn't sleep. I kept thinking about your press conference tomorrow." "How do you know about the press conference?" Carmen looked sheepish. "He overheard me talking to my sister about it." "I'm sorry, Mr. Musk." "It's okay." Elon sat down next to his son. "What are you drawing?" Ash held up his paper. It showed stick figures standing behind a podium, with cameras pointed at them. Above the scene he had written in careful 7-year-old letters, "Daddy tells truth to world." "You drew the press conference?" "Yep. And look at this part." Ash pointed to the corner of the drawing, where he had drawn a small figure with curly hair holding a rocket. "That's me helping you be brave." Elon's throat got tight. "How are you going to help me be brave?" "By standing with you." Carmen says press conferences are scary. "But you won't be scared if I'm there too." Carmen's eyes went wide. "Ash, no. The press conference is not safe for children." But Elon was looking at his son's drawing more carefully. There was something else in the picture. In the background he had drawn several stick figures with angry faces and dark clothes. "Ash, who are these people in the back?" "The bad guys who don't want kids to go to Mars." "But see," he pointed to the front of the drawing. "The good guys are bigger because more people want to help than want to hurt." Elon stared at the drawing. His 7-year-old son had somehow understood the entire situation perfectly. Good versus evil. Truth versus lies. Hope versus fear. "Buddy, Carmen is right. The press conference might be dangerous. That's why you need me there," Ash said seriously. "When I was scared to go to school after Tommy pushed me, you came with me. Now you're scared to talk to the world about bad people, so I should come with you." The logic was perfect and terrible at the same time. Ash wanted to support his father the same way Elon had supported him. "Ash, these bad people might try to hurt you to stop me from talking. Then we have to be extra brave. Like superheroes." Elon looked at Carmen, who shrugged helplessly. "He's been talking about this for 2 hours. Very determined. Besides," Ash continued, "if the bad people see that kids aren't scared of them, maybe other kids will be brave too." Once again, his son's wisdom cut through all the adult complexity. Children everywhere were watching this fight between fear and hope. If Ash could be brave, maybe other kids could be brave too. Elon made a decision that went against every parental instinct he had. Okay, you can come to the press conference. Really? Ash jumped up from his chair. But we need extra security. And you have to promise to do exactly what the security people tell you. I promise. Can I bring my rocket drawing to show everyone? Which rocket drawing? The one with all the space friends holding hands on Mars. To remind people why this is important, Elon hugged his son tight. Tomorrow, they would face international conspirators and foreign agents together. A billionaire CEO and his 7-year-old boy fighting for humanity's future. The next morning, SpaceX headquarters in Hawthorne was surrounded by news trucks and satellite dishes. Reporters from around the world had gathered for what the media was calling the most important space announcement in decades. Inside the building, Elon stood in the green room with his team. Rebecca had flown in from Houston. James Wu and David Kim had driven down from their offices. Dr. Chen was participating by video link from NASA. Viktor Petrov would join from Moscow. Vincent Cross sat in the corner, looking nervous but determined. He clutched a briefcase full of evidence that would expose the Earth First coalition to the world. 5 minutes to air, announced the SpaceX communications director. Ash sat on a chair next to his father, wearing his best shirt and tie. He held his Mars drawing carefully, making sure not to wrinkle it. You ready, buddy? Elon asked. I'm ready. Are you? Before Elon could answer, Marcus Rodriguez burst through the door. We have a problem, he said urgently. Someone leaked the press conference details to the coalition. They know Vincent is going to testify. How do you know? Rebecca asked. Marcus held up his phone. I've been monitoring coalition communications all morning. They're planning something. What kind of something? They're going to try to discredit Vincent before he can speak. They have fake evidence that makes him look like he's lying. Vincent looked sick. What kind of fake evidence? Documents that show you stealing money for personal reasons instead of working for the coalition. Bank records that make it look like you acted alone. But that's not true. We know that. But if they release this fake evidence during the press conference, nobody will believe your testimony about the conspiracy. Elon felt his heart sinking. All their planning, all their courage, and the coalition was still one step ahead. Can we postpone? David Kim asked. No, Marcus said. They're already releasing the fake documents to news outlets. By tonight, Vincent will be discredited completely. So what do we do? That's when Ash spoke up from his chair. Why don't we trick them back? All the adults turned to look at the 7-year-old. What do you mean, buddy? Elon asked. If they think they know what we're gonna say, we should say something different. Something that makes them look silly. Rebecca knelt down to Ash's eye level. Can you explain that? Ash thought for a moment, then smiled. It's like when Tommy thought he was gonna scare me at recess, but I brought all my friends with me instead. He was ready for one scared kid, but not for a whole group of brave kids. Marcus was staring at Ash with amazement. That's actually brilliant. What do you mean? Elon asked. The coalition prepared fake evidence to counter Vincent's testimony. But what if Vincent doesn't testify first? What if we lead with something they're not prepared for? Like what? Marcus was getting excited. Like Dr. Chen presenting NASA's evidence first, or Viktor revealing the Russian excision, or Rebecca explaining how her company was manipulated. They'll have to scramble to create new fake evidence in real time, James Wu added. Much harder to do convincingly. Vincent was nodding. And by the time I testify, the world will already know the conspiracy is real. My testimony becomes confirmation instead of the main story. Rebecca looked at Ash with respect. You just outsmarted a group of international spies. Ash beamed. Daddy always says the best plans are the simple ones. 2 minutes to air, called the communications director. They quickly reorganized their presentation. Dr. Chen would lead with NASA's evidence of foreign infiltration. Viktor would follow with Russia's investigation. Rebecca would explain how her company was used. Vincent would provide confirmation. And Elon would end by explaining why Mars mattered for children everywhere. Places. Everyone, called the director. As they walked toward the stage, Ash tugged on his father's sleeve. Daddy, what if the bad people try to hurt us during the press conference? Elon looked down at his son. This brave little boy who had just helped out maneuver international criminals. Then, We'll face them together, buddy. Just like your drawing shows. The good guys are bigger because more people want to help than want to hurt? Exactly. Hand in hand, father and son walked onto the stage to face the world and expose the truth that could save humanity's future among the stars. In the audience, cameras flashed and reporters waited. But also watching, hidden among the crowd, were coalition agents who thought they knew exactly what was coming. They were about to be very surprised. The SpaceX auditorium was packed with reporters from around the world. Camera flashes popped like lightning as Elon walked to the podium with Ash beside him. The little boy carried his Mars drawing carefully, his eyes wide as he looked at all the people. Ladies and gentlemen, Elon began, thank you for coming. Today we're going to tell you about a conspiracy to stop humanity from reaching Mars. But first I'd like you to hear from Dr. Sarah Chen at NASA. In the back of the room, 3 men in dark suits exchanged worried glances. They had prepared for Vincent Cross to speak first. They had fake documents ready to discredit him immediately. But this wasn't the plan they had expected. Dr. Chen's face appeared on the giant screen behind Elon. For the past 6 months, Dr. Chen said clearly, NASA has been investigating the disappearance of key aerospace personnel. Engineers, scientists, and researchers have been vanishing from critical space projects. She clicked to a new slide showing photographs of missing people. We now have evidence that foreign agents have been kidnapping American space workers and forcing them to work on competing space programs. The room erupted in surprised murmurs. Reporters started typing frantically on their laptops. One of the men in dark suits pulled out his phone and started texting rapidly. Furthermore, Dr. Chen continued, we have discovered computer viruses in NASA systems, planted by the same foreign agents. These viruses were designed to steal American space technology and sabotage our missions. Viktor Petrov's face replaced Dr. Chen's on the screen. Greetings from Moscow, Viktor said in his thick Russian accent. I am here to confirm that Russian authorities are investigating several oligarchs who have betrayed both Russian and American space interests. He held up official-looking documents. These men have been working with Chinese military intelligence and corrupt politicians to prevent international space cooperation. They are criminals and traitors to human progress. The dark-suited men were now whispering urgently to each other. Their fake evidence about Vincent Cross was useless against NASA investigations and Russian government statements. Rebecca Sterling stepped forward to the microphone. My name is Rebecca Sterling, CEO of Sterling Energy Corporation. For the past year, my company has been infiltrated by agents working for something called the Earth First Coalition. She held up photographs of Vincent Cross and other conspirators. This coalition convinced one of my board members, Vincent Cross, to sabotage SpaceX rockets and steal company funds. They told him he was protecting American jobs, but they were actually using him to stop American space exploration. The reporters were going crazy now. This was bigger than anyone had expected. International espionage, missing scientists, corporate sabotage, foreign agents. One reporter shouted a question. Ms. Sterling, are you saying your own board member was a foreign agent? Not exactly, Rebecca replied. Vincent Cross was manipulated by foreign agents. He thought he was helping American workers, but he was actually helping China and Russia steal American space technology. That's when Vincent Cross himself stepped forward. The 3 men in dark suits looked panicked. Vincent wasn't supposed to speak until later, after they had discredited him. Now he was appearing as a supporting witness instead of the main target. My name is Vincent Cross, he said quietly into the microphone. Everything Miss Sterling just said is true. I was a fool who let fear and lies turn me into a traitor. He opened his briefcase and pulled out stacks of documents. I have 2 years of evidence about the Earth First Coalition. Names, photographs, bank records, recorded conversations. Chinese agents, Russian oligarchs, corrupt politicians from 6 countries. All working together to keep America on Earth while they explore space. Vincent's voice got stronger as he continued. They told me Mars colonization would destroy American jobs. But that was a lie. They wanted to destroy American space leadership so their own countries could control the future. He held up one particular document. This is a recorded conversation between coalition leaders. They're planning to kidnap more American scientists and bomb SpaceX facilities. The room went completely silent. When? Shouted a reporter. Tonight, they have teams moving into position right now. Marcus Rodriguez immediately spoke into his radio. All units, code red. Implement emergency protocols now. Elon looked down at Ash, who was watching everything with wide eyes but didn't look scared. Just curious, like he was watching an exciting movie. Are you okay, buddy? Elon whispered. This is better than TV. Ash whispered back. The three men in dark suits were trying to leave quietly, but SpaceX security guards blocked the exits. Marcus had been tracking them all morning. Ladies and gentlemen, Elon said, stepping back to the microphone. What you've just heard explains why the Mars mission is so important, not just for America, but for all of humanity. He picked up Ash and held him so everyone could see. This is my son, Ash. He's 7 years old. Last week, he drew a picture of people from different countries holding hands on Mars. That's what the coalition is trying to stop. They want space exploration to be about competition and conflict instead of cooperation and hope. Ash held up his drawing for the cameras to see. But children understand something that some adults have forgotten. Elon continued. The future belongs to everyone. Mars isn't American or Chinese or Russian. Mars is human. A reporter called out, Mr. Musk, aren't you worried about your son's safety? Of course I am. But I'm more worried about what kind of world we leave for him if we let fear win over hope. Ash leaned into the microphone. The bad people think kids will be scared of them, he said in his clear 7-year-old voice. But we're not scared. We know the good people are stronger because there are more of us. The entire room burst into applause. Viktor Petrov's voice came through the speakers from Moscow. The child is right. Good people outnumber bad people everywhere. Dr. Chen nodded on the screen. NASA stands with all children who dream of exploring space. Rebecca smiled. Sterling Energy will spend every dollar necessary to make sure kids like Ash can visit Mars safely. Vincent Cross wiped tears from his eyes. My granddaughter will grow up in a world where dreams are stronger than fear, because of brave children like this. As the press conference ended, Marcus Rodriguez approached Elon with an update. FBI teams just arrested 15 coalition agents across the country. The planned attacks tonight have been stopped. What about the kidnapped scientists? Rescue teams are moving in now. We should have them back within hours. Elon looked around the auditorium. Reporters were filing their stories. Camera crews were packing up. The truth was spreading around the world faster than any lie. But most importantly, Ash was grinning from ear to ear. Daddy, did we win? Yeah, buddy. We won. Does this mean kids can go to Mars now? Someday, when you're older and ready for the adventure. Cool. Can I design the playgrounds? Elon laughed and hugged his son tight. After everything they had been through, sabotage, conspiracy, international espionage, and foreign agents, his 7-year-old was already thinking about Mars playgrounds. That night, as news of the coalition's exposure spread around the world, children in dozens of countries watched the footage of Ash standing bravely at the podium. And for the first time in years, more kids went to bed dreaming about space exploration than fearing it. The truth had set them free, and Mars was waiting. 3 weeks later, Elon sat in his office watching the morning news. The headlines were still full of stories about the Earth First Coalition. Arrests had been made in 12 countries, missing scientists had been rescued from secret facilities in China and Eastern Europe. Government investigations were exposing corruption at the highest levels. But the best news was simpler. Construction on the new Mars rockets had resumed with full international support. Ash wandered in wearing his pajamas and carrying a bowl of cereal. Morning, Daddy. Are you watching the space news again? Always, buddy. Want to see something cool? Elon clicked to a different channel showing live footage from the International Space Station. Astronauts from America, Russia, and Europe were working together to build components for the Mars mission. Look at that, Elon said. People from different countries working together in space. Just like your drawing. Ash climbed into his father's lap, careful not to spill his cereal. What happened to the bad rocket man? Is he still sad? Vincent? He's doing much better. He's helping the FBI find the rest of the coalition members, and he's started a new job. What kind of job? He's working with Rebecca Sterling to create clean energy jobs for oil workers. Remember how he was worried about people losing their jobs? Now he's helping them get new ones. Ash nodded seriously. So he's not bad anymore. He's just regular now. Better than regular. He's helping fix the problems he helped cause. The news switched to a story about Vincent Cross testifying before Congress. The old man looked different now, calmer, more peaceful. He was explaining to senators how foreign agents had manipulated American fears about job losses and energy independence. "Mr. Cross," asked one senator, "why should we believe you now when you admit to lying before?" Vincent's answer was clear and strong. "Because I have a 7-year-old granddaughter who asked me to help her color a picture of astronauts on Mars. When I realized I was trying to destroy her future, I knew I had to tell the truth." Ash looked up at his father. He said, 7 years old. "That's how old I am." "I know, kids your age seem to be pretty good at helping adults make the right choices." The news moved to another story. Rebecca Sterling announcing that her company would hire 5,000 new workers to build solar panels and wind turbines for the Mars colonies. "These aren't just Earth jobs," Rebecca said in her interview. "These are Mars jobs. Every solar panel we build here will power a home on Mars. Every wind turbine will help terraform the red planet. We're not losing the energy business. We're expanding it to 2 worlds." "Is Miss Rebecca still angry?" Ash asked. "She was never really angry, buddy. She was scared, just like Vincent. But now she's excited about the future instead of worried about it." Elon's phone buzzed with a video call. Dr. Chen's face appeared on the screen. "Morning, Elon, is Ash there?" "Hi, Dr. Chen." Ash waved at the phone. "Are you calling from space?" Dr. Chen laughed. "Not today. I'm calling from Kennedy Space Center. Want to see something special?" She turned her phone to show the massive vehicle assembly building. Inside, workers were putting together the first Mars-bound Starship with international components. Russian nuclear engines, European life support systems, American spacecraft, and Japanese robotics, Dr. Chen explained. "Just like Ash's drawing. Everyone working together." "When do people go to Mars?" Ash asked. 18 months, Dr. Chen replied. "The first crew will be 12 astronauts from 6 different countries. They'll build the foundation for Mars City Alpha." Ash's eyes got huge. "Mars City Alpha? That sounds so cool. It's going to be the first human settlement on another planet. And you know what the first building will be?" "What?" "A school. Because we want to make sure Mars is ready for kids like you." After Dr. Chen hung up, Ash was quiet for a while, thinking hard. "Daddy, when I'm old enough to go to Mars, will there be other kids there?" "Probably. Mars City Alpha is being designed for families. Kids, parents, grandparents. Whole communities. Will they need someone to design playgrounds?" Elon smiled. "I bet they will. Mars playgrounds will need to be different from Earth playgrounds because of the different gravity. I could design bounce houses that let kids jump super high. And rocket ship jungle gyms. That sounds perfect." Elon's computer chimed with an email from James Wu. The subject line read, "Mars mission update. You'll love this." The email contained a link to a news story about children around the world submitting drawings and essays about Mars exploration. After seeing Ash's press conference appearance, kids from dozens of countries had started their own Mars Dream projects. "Look at this, buddy," Elon said, clicking through the pictures. Children from India had drawn detailed plans for Mars gardens. Kids from Brazil had designed colorful Mars houses. Students from Kenya had written stories about Mars schools. Children from Japan had created Mars robot helpers. "All these kids are thinking about Mars now?" Ash asked. "All because you showed them it was okay to dream big dreams, even when some adults try to scare them." Ash beamed with pride. "Can we invite them all to visit Mars City Alpha when it's built and safe?" "I think that would be wonderful." The phone rang again. This time it was Viktor Petrov calling from Moscow. "Good morning, my friends," Viktor's voice boomed through the speaker. "I have news that will make you happy." "What kind of news?" Elon asked. "Russian government has approved full nuclear propulsion sharing with SpaceX. Our fastest engines for your Mars rockets. Travel time to Mars, 3 months instead of 7. Ash jumped up from Elon's lap. 3 months? That's not very long. Not long at all for such a big adventure, Viktor agreed. And Ash, I have something special for you. Viktor held up a small package. Official junior cosmonaut uniform, made in Russia especially for brave 7-year-old Mars dreamer. Really? For me? For you? When your father brings you to Moscow next month for mission planning, you will receive it personally." After Victor hung up, Ash danced around the office in excitement. "Daddy, this is the best day ever." Mars rockets, playgrounds, cosmonaut uniforms, and kids from everywhere dreaming about space. Elon watched his son celebrate and felt something he hadn't felt in months: complete peace. The conspiracy was defeated. The mission was secured. International cooperation was stronger than ever. But most importantly, children around the world were dreaming about the stars again. "You know what, buddy?" Elon said, "I think you're right. This might be the best day ever. And tomorrow will be even better." "Why's that?" "Because tomorrow will be one day closer to Mars." Elon laughed and hugged his son. Outside his office window, SpaceX engineers were already back to work building the rockets that would carry humanity to its second home. The Earth First Coalition had tried to keep humans trapped on one world through fear and lies. But they had forgotten something important. Children don't stay children forever. They grow up to become the adults who build rockets and explore planets and turn impossible dreams into everyday reality. And Mars was still waiting, just as it had waited for millions of years. But now, finally, humans were coming to visit. And they were bringing their children's dreams with them. 18 months later, Kennedy Space Center buzzed with excitement. The biggest rocket ever built stood on Launch Pad 39A, gleaming silver against the Florida sky. Today, September 15, 2025, 12 astronauts from 6 countries would begin humanity's first journey to build a permanent home on Mars. Elon stood with Ash on the VIP viewing platform, surrounded by thousands of people who had come to watch history unfold. Ash was now almost 9 years old and wore his official junior cosmonaut uniform from Viktor Petrov, a miniature version of what real astronauts wore. "Daddy, it's so big," Ash said, pointing at the massive Starship rocket. "Way bigger than my toy ones." 400 feet tall, Elon replied, taller than a football field standing up. Around them, familiar faces had gathered to witness the launch. Rebecca Sterling stood nearby with her 7-year-old nephew Marcus, who had become fascinated with space after meeting Ash. James Wu and David Kim were taking photos with their families. Chen was busy coordinating with mission control, but she had promised to wave at them from the launch director's booth. Viktor Petrov had flown in from Moscow with his 8-year-old granddaughter Katya. She wore a matching junior cosmonaut uniform and was comparing notes with Ash about Mars playground designs. "In Russia, we have snow slides," Katya was explaining. "On Mars, we could have dust slides that go really high because of low gravity. And bounce castles," Ash added excitedly. "We could jump like kangaroos." Vincent Cross arrived last, walking slowly with a cane, but smiling brightly. His granddaughter Emma held his hand and carried a drawing she had made of the rocket launch. "Mr. Musk," Vincent said, approaching Elon, "thank you for letting me be here today. You earned your place here, Vincent. Your testimony helped shut down the coalition completely." Vincent's eyes got watery. "My granddaughter asked me yesterday what the rocket was carrying to Mars. I told her it was carrying hope." Emma tugged on Vincent's sleeve. "Grandpa, tell them about the letters." "What letters?" Elon asked. Vincent smiled. "Children from around the world have been writing letters to the Mars astronauts. Emma helped me collect them. We have over 10,000 letters in 50 languages. What do they say? Mostly the same thing. Thank you for making space safe for kids like us." The countdown began, echoing across the Space Center. T-minus 60 minutes and counting. Ash pressed against the viewing platform railing, his eyes glued to the rocket. "Are you nervous, Daddy?" "A little. This is the biggest moment of my life." "Bigger than when I was born?" Elon laughed. "Different kind of big. When you were born, you became my whole world. Today, we're giving kids like you a whole new world." Dr. Chen's voice crackled through the loudspeakers. "All systems are go. Weather is perfect. The crew is ready." On the giant video screens around the viewing area, they could see inside the Starship capsule. 12 astronauts sat in their seats, representing the best of humanity. Commander Lisa Martinez, from America. Pilot Alexei Volkov, from Russia. Mission Specialist Yuki Tanaka from Japan. Engineer Hans Müller, from Germany. Scientist Priya Patel from India. Dr. Amara Okafor, from Nigeria. 6 more astronauts, each representing different countries, different cultures, but all united by one goal: building humanity's first home among the stars. T-minus 30 minutes and counting. Rebecca Sterling joined Elon and Ash at the railing. "My company's solar panels are on that rocket," she said proudly. "The same technology that powers my Texas headquarters will power the first Mars base." "And the wind turbines?" Ash asked. "Those too. Mars has dust storms that last for months. We learned how to turn those storms into clean energy." James Wu was live streaming the launch on his phone. 2 billion people are watching this around the world. Kids in every country are staying up late or waking up early to see the launch. David Kim showed them his tablet. The blockchain funding platform raised $8 billion from regular people. Teachers, students, families. Everyone who wanted to be part of Mars exploration. T-minus 10 minutes and counting. Viktor Petrov approached with Katya. "My granddaughter has a question for Ash." Katya looked shy but determined. "Ash, when we grow up, can we visit Mars together? Russian kids and American kids, exploring new world?" "Of course," Ash replied immediately. "Mars is big enough for everyone." T-minus 5 minutes and counting. The crowd grew quiet. Even the children sensed the importance of this moment. Humanity was about to take its first step toward becoming a multi-planet species. Vincent Cross squeezed his granddaughter's hand. "Emma, remember this moment. Tell your children someday about the day humans decided to reach for the stars." T-minus 1 minute and counting. Ash grabbed his father's hand tightly. Around the viewing platform, thousands of people held their breath. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Ignition. The starship's engines ignited in brilliant blue flames. The rocket lifted slowly from the launch pad, climbing higher and higher into the Florida sky. The sound was incredible. Not just noise, but the roar of human dreams made real.
Ash jumped up and down, cheering.
"They're going to Mars! They're really going to Mars!" The rocket climbed through the clouds and disappeared from sight, but everyone could still see it on the video screens. The first stage separated perfectly. The second stage fired its engines and continued toward orbit. "Orbit achieved," announced Mission Control. "Mars transfer injection burn in 2 hours." The crowd erupted in celebration. People were crying, laughing, hugging strangers, taking pictures. Children who had stayed up past their bedtime were dancing with excitement. Dr. Chen's voice came through the speakers one more time. "Ladies and gentlemen, 12 brave astronauts are now on their way to Mars, carrying the hopes and dreams of every child who ever looked up at the night sky and wondered what's out there." Elon looked down at Ash, who was still staring at the sky where the rocket had disappeared. "What are you thinking about, buddy?" "I'm thinking about the astronauts up there," Ash said quietly. "They must be looking back at Earth right now, seeing our whole planet like a blue marble." "Probably. And I'm thinking about Mars, waiting for them. It's been alone for so long. But now it's gonna have friends." Elon felt tears in his eyes. His 9-year-old son understood something that many adults missed. Space exploration wasn't about leaving Earth behind. It was about expanding the definition of home. As the crowd began to disperse, families walking hand in hand toward the parking lots, Viktor Petrov approached one final time. "Elon, my friend, we did it. Humans are going to Mars. We all did it. Every person here. Every child who dreamed. Every adult who chose hope over fear." Viktor nodded toward Ash and Katya, who were still talking excitedly about Mars cities and space playgrounds. "You know what the best part is? In 20 years, when these children are adults, going to Mars will be normal. They'll take their own children on vacation to Mars City Alpha, and those kids will probably complain that Mars is boring and want to go to Jupiter." Elon laughed. As they drove home through the Florida night, Ash fell asleep in the back seat, still wearing his junior cosmonaut uniform. In his lap was Emma's drawing of the rocket launch, which she had given him as a present. Elon looked in the rearview mirror at his sleeping son and smiled. The boy who had interrupted a Zoom call with a broken robot had helped save humanity's future among the stars. Tomorrow, children around the world would wake up knowing that Mars was no longer impossible. And someday, maybe sooner than anyone expected, those same children would be packing their bags for the greatest adventure in human history. The stars were calling, and finally humanity was ready to answer. 2 years later, Ash sat at the same desk where his father used to hold Zoom calls. But everything was different now. Instead of toy rockets scattered around the office, there were real photographs from Mars Base Alpha, pictures of the first human settlement on another world, growing larger every month. At 11 years old, Ash was taller, his voice slightly deeper, but his eyes still held the same mander they'd had when he first interrupted that famous meeting with his broken robot. Today, he was hosting his own video call. "Good morning, Mars," Ash said to his computer screen, where 12 faces looked back at him from 40 million miles away. Commander Lisa Martinez waved from the main habitat dome. "Good morning, Earth. How's the weather down there?" "Sunny in Austin," Ash replied. "How's the weather on Mars?" "Dusty, but we're getting used to it," laughed Dr. Priya Patel from the science lab. "The solar panels your mom's company built are working perfectly, even in dust storms." Ash grinned. "Rebecca isn't my mom, but I'll tell her you said thanks." These weekly calls between Earth and Mars had become famous around the world. Children everywhere tuned in to hear about life on the red planet. Today's call was special, though. They were celebrating the second anniversary of the Mars landing. Ash called engineer Hans Mueller from the construction site. "Want to see what we built this week?" "Yes." Hans turned his camera to show a new building under construction. It had curved walls and a dome roof designed to withstand Mars's harsh environment. "That's going to be the first Mars school," announced mission specialist Yuki Tanaka. "Ready for students in about 5 years." Ash's eyes went wide. "Students? Kids are going to Mars?" "The next mission launches in 18 months, Commander Martinez explained. 12 more astronauts, plus the first 3 Mars families. 6 adults and 6 children, ages 8 to 16. Real kids living on Mars? Real kids. They'll help us test how families can live safely on Mars long term." Dr. Amara Okafor appeared on screen from the medical bay. "We've learned so much about staying healthy in Mars' gravity and atmosphere. It's safe for children now." Ash looked at the pictures on his father's wall. Photos of Starship rockets launching every few months, carrying supplies and people to Mars Base Alpha. The red planet was no longer empty. It was becoming humanity's second home. "Commander Martinez," Ash said, "remember when everyone said kids couldn't go to Mars because it was too dangerous?" "I remember. But you proved them wrong, didn't you? Kids aren't just tough enough for Mars, they're essential for Mars." "What do you mean?" Pilot Alexei Volkov joined the conversation from the greenhouse dome. "Adults think too much about problem. Children think about possibilities. Every improvement we've made to Mars Base Alpha came from suggestions in children's letters." "Like what?" "The playground equipment that doubles as exercise machines. The art walls that help with mental health during dust storms. The pet rabbits that provide fresh food and companionship." Ash laughed. "Pet rabbits on Mars? 6 of them," Dr. Patel confirmed. "They love the low gravity. They can hop 3 times higher than on Earth." The office door opened, and Elon walked in carrying 2 cups of coffee. His hair was grayer now with streaks of silver, but his eyes sparkled with the same excitement they'd had during that first historic Zoom call. "Morning, Mars crew," Elon said, joining Ash at the desk. "How's the second planet treating you?" "Like home," Commander Martinez replied. "Though we miss Earth pizza. The supply rocket launching next month has a pizza oven aboard," Elon said with a smile. "Along with seeds for a tomato garden." "Real Earth pizza on Mars?" Engineer Mueller looked excited. "Real Earth pizza on Mars. Made with Mars water, Mars-grown vegetables, and a whole lot of Earth love." Ash looked up at his father. "Dad, when can I apply to be a Mars colonist?" "When you're 18, if you still want to go." "But Ash," Elon paused, "Mars will need more than just visitors. It will need leaders. People who understand that different planets can work together instead of competing. Like how you and Victor and Rebecca work together." "Exactly like that." Dr. Okafor spoke up from Mars. "Ash, we have something special for you today. A message from someone you inspired." The screen split to show a new face. A young girl with dark hair and bright eyes, speaking from what looked like a school classroom. "Hi, Ash. My name is Emma Cross. You probably don't remember me, but we met at the rocket launch 2 years ago. I'm Vincent Cross's granddaughter." Ash leaned forward. "Emma, I remember you. You gave me your drawing." "That's right. Well, I wanted to tell you that I just got accepted to the Mars Youth Program. When I turn 16, I'll be in the first group of teenagers to spend a summer on Mars. Emma held up a certificate with official NASA and SpaceX logos. I'm going to study Mars geology and help design the first Mars university. And it's all because you showed me that kids don't have to wait for adults to make dreams come true. Kids can help make dreams come true right now. Ash was speechless for a moment. Then he broke into the biggest smile Elon had ever seen. Emma, that's amazing. You're gonna love Mars. I hope so. And Ash, my grandfather wanted me to tell you something. He said that meeting you and your father changed his life. He's been working with clean energy companies ever since, helping create jobs for people who used to work in oil. Is he happy now? Very happy. He says he finally understands what his granddaughter's future should look like. After Emma logged off, the Mars crew shared more updates. The base now had 43 permanent residents. The greenhouse domes were producing enough food to feed everyone. The communication systems connected Mars colonists with family and friends on Earth every day. But the most important news was simpler. People were happy on Mars. They woke up each morning excited about building humanity's future instead of afraid of what might go wrong. Ash, Commander Martinez said as the call was ending, you should know that every child who comes to Mars will learn about the boy who helped save the Mars mission by interrupting a meeting with a broken toy. Really, Mars Base Alpha's main computer center is called the Ash Memorial Learning Lab. Memorial? But I'm not dead. The Mars crew laughed. Not that kind of memorial, Dr. Patel explained. A memorial to the day a child's wisdom saved humanity's future. After the Mars call ended, Ash and Elon sat quietly in the office, looking at the photos and drawings covering the walls. Pictures from Mars mixed with children's artwork from around the world. Dreams made real alongside dreams still being born. Dad, Ash said finally, do you think we did the right thing, fighting so hard to get to Mars? What do you think? Ash considered the question seriously, the same way he had always thought about important things. I think Mars was lonely for billions of years. Now it has friends, and Earth has a backup plan if something bad happens. And kids everywhere know that impossible things aren't really impossible. Elon nodded. I think you're right. Plus, Ash added with a grin, Mars rabbits that can hop super high sound pretty cool. They laughed together, father and son, in the office where it all began, where a broken toy robot had led to fixing humanity's future among the stars. Outside the window, the Texas sky was clear and blue. But somewhere in that sky, getting closer every day, Mars was shining like a red star of hope. And on that distant world, 43 humans were building the first chapter of humanity's multi-planet story. A story that began with a child's interruption and would continue with children's dreams for generations to come. The future was no longer a distant possibility. The future was home. From a broken toy robot to thriving Mars colonies, we've seen how children's wisdom can guide adults toward making the right choices. Sometimes the most important conversations happen when we least expect them. And sometimes, it takes a child's perspective to show us what really matters. We'd love to hear from you. Where are you listening from today? Drop a comment below and let us know your city and country. It's amazing to connect with dreamers and story lovers from around the world. If this story inspired you or made you smile, please hit that like button. It really helps us create more uplifting content like this. Don't forget to subscribe to our channel for many more interesting stories that blend real science, human emotions, the power of dreams. We share new stories every week that celebrate curiosity, courage, and the belief that impossible things can become possible. Please share this video with your friends and family. In a world that can sometimes feel divided, stories like this remind us that cooperation, understanding, and kindness can overcome any obstacle. When we spread stories of hope and possibility, we help create the future we want to see. Until next time, keep looking up at the stars. And remember, the future belongs to those brave enough to dream big dreams. The future is home.